brother. Ah! Oh, fuck, man, fuck. What's good? Ah, Luke, you're good. Go, 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 go. Ah, what the fuck is good, man? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? How y'all living, man? I'm just gonna say it's real quiet. Smells like sunlight. It's real quiet, man. It is real fucking quiet out here. It's real quiet. I don't care if I range eyes. It's real quiet. Okay, you want good news? I'll just give it to you. You want good news or bad news? Good news or bad news? Pick. Go to bad. Go ahead. Pick. What do you want? Go to bad. Bad news, there is none. There's none. Good news. I need to see 13,000 W streamers in the chat right now for good news. I need to see 13,000 W streamer. I need to see like so many W streamer. No, like W streamer, not W's. W streamer, like the whole word. I need to see like 13,000 of them. I need to see more W streamers. I want to break the Guinness Book of World Records on W streamers in this chat before I tell you what I'm about to tell you. Even Wavy, if Wavy's saying it, that's how you know. If Wavy's saying it, he knows he could do it. All right, look, I'm gonna make a deal with y'all. I care so deeply about the comm and this career of mine. And yeah, I'm going under the needle tomorrow. I am going under the needle tomorrow, and I'm getting an operation done, a very serious operation on my shoulder. I'm getting blood injection into my type 2 slap tear on my labrum and a possible anterior labrum tear as well. Okay, so type 2, not 1. It goes 1 through 4. Type 2 slap tear and an anterior labrum tear as well. Also some slight retardation, but they can't treat that under the needle. Okay. And slap, S-L-A-P, slap. Yeah, Luke, it's white. It's white. Here's the deal I'll make with you all. Okay? It's at noon, and I'm not allowed to take pain medicine. There's a 10-inch needle that's going to go into my type 2 slap 2 labrum tear and my potential tear on my anterior labrum. Okay, so I have a double labrum tear. Twofold. And I can't take pain medicine, so I'm going to be in excruciating pain tomorrow, yes. And Friday, yes. And I also have a party to go to on Saturday. And so That means Monday's stream might be compromised a little. Oh, I forgot to tweet. Let me tweet real quick. I forgot that we're live. Hold on. That means that Monday's stream continues, which, Luke, there you go. That's Miro for you. Malcolm, make sure that's green check. Make sure, Malcolm, that we're good to go here. And okay, I'm gonna do a market open stream tomorrow. But here's the deal. Okay, here's the deal. No, that's diabetes. Type 1 isn't your fault, but type 2, that's diabetes, not shoulder tear. That's diabetes, is what that is. But it's gonna be short, and I can't guarantee anything. I'm not gonna do any prep. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna show up at, I don't know what time. I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna stream for like 45 minutes just to show you all that I live for this shit. Okay, I really live for this shit. I'm just gonna show up. I'm gonna click start. And then we're gonna do a quick market open. I'm gonna read some tickers. I'm gonna show you I'm really about this shit. Check first, raw to bed, spike the cortisol. And I can't guarantee much time, but we're gonna do a market open stream tomorrow. So feel free, spam it, W streamer. Come on. Get it right. Friday, I'm gonna stream. Yep. Friday, I'm gonna stream, but I think it's gonna be gnarly. Like, I think I'm gonna be in a bad way on Friday. But we're gonna have a geopolitical polymarket expert come on. We're gonna have a good stream on Friday. We have a lot to cover, and so that's the deal. That's what we're doing now. Today is a good day. Today's a very good day. We're gonna talk about war stuff. It seems that it doesn't really seem like we've had severe escalations. I've been following as closely as I can. I'm gonna go on a rant in a second about war. It doesn't feel like we've had severe escalations. And the stream is really just school. This stream is low-key school. It doesn't feel like we've had severe escalations. Oil is like pretty flat today. Let's see my charts. Brent is red. Crude is also red, or like plus sub a percent. They keep. Why does Shavy keep doing this? It keeps taking tickers off my fucking. It's really annoying. It's like hiding tickers. Crude is up 1%. And low-key candling right now. SPY was green today, or I guess market hasn't closed yet. SPY is green today. Like, it's been a pretty chill day in the markets. Things have been green, and then we had Bitcoin absolutely fucking. Look, I don't like to get too ahead of myself on, Bitcoin sending, but these are the lines that I had drawn yesterday, and yeah, it looks pretty fucking good. I mean, all things considered, what happens from here is now a very different equation than what happened to get here. But Bitcoin look, you just take what you can get at this stage, and then you have to start to question yourself when you see Bitcoin acting as a hedge against geopolitical tension, and you see BTC up almost 8% and gold's barely up 1%. You start to think to yourself, what the fuck happened on 1010? And wow, this is what we can do without, Jane Street manipulation. I don't know. You start to question all of these theories. You start to question all these theories. And so we'll do a lot of theory questioning as well. Also, there was this Trump tweet that came out yesterday about 1010's your birthday. I'm sorry to hear that. L birthday. There was this Trump tweet came out yesterday about the Clarity Act and banks and Bitcoin, and I sort of just disregarded it because I'm like, we're talking about war. How is he talking about Bitcoin? But I think it was actually a pretty significant headline, and we're going to read it. We're going to spend some time on it, and we're going to get into it. So tell me if you agree with me on the flow here. It's like, okay, here's the flow, how I'm thinking of stream. I'm gonna do an intro. I have to rant. I got to rant to get off my chest. We're gonna do war updates, which I don't think is gonna be super long, by the way. We're probably gonna. Pete Hegseth did a speech. We're gonna watch the Hegseth speech, of course, And then we're going to talk about the Strait of Hormuz, which is important. And then I'm also, God, I got like somehow psyoped into taking this geopolitical like map guesser quiz. And we're going to do that. Then we're going to go real quick, Korean stocks, which has been a mess the last 2 days. Circuit breakers just like legging down right after crypto got into it. Then we're going to do crypto, Bitcoin. And then we have pretty substantial AI updates. Dario spoke again, and it was kind of alarming. And then I have a guest coming on, Contrarian Cap, who I think is one of the best stock traders in the world. I don't have his portfolio, and so I can't promise you that he is for a fact, but I'm usually pretty good with like my radar on these things, and I think he's one of the best. And so we haven't had a guest on in a while. Suspended Cap, sorry. His name is like Contrarian, but his name's Suspended Cap. I think he's one of the best traders. We use his tweets all the time. This is him, if you like recognize his PFP. This is him. We use his tweets all the time. It still doesn't follow me, but I think he's one of the best in the game. And so he's going to come on. We're going to talk about war, what he's trading with war, AI, SaaS, all of these things. He's just like one of the best in the game. And so I think we're due for a trader. I could have gotten like a war speculator on, but I was like, let's get like a trader on to talk about war and put us in a good place for knowledge on the week. So that's the plan for today. Also, someone says threadguy got one-shotted by the war. It's like such a crazy statement. It's like, yeah, this massive geopolitical conflict that's going to influence our day-to-day lives, everything we trade, every market we could ever pay attention to. Threadguy is interested in it. Why would he do that? He's one-shotted. It's like, all right, bro. And speaking of geopolitical war, I want to just like talk about something really quick, which is like, all right, we're 3 days into geopolitics, really 5, right? This happened on like Saturday, Sunday, and then we covered it Monday, Tuesday, and now it's Wednesday. And I have absolutely zero history covering geopolitics. Okay, I've never paid attention to geopolitics ever. Okay, when Russia invaded Ukraine, I was like holding Bitcoin and I was tweeting about NFTs. I've never paid attention to geopolitical conflict ever. I'm fucking blessed to live in America, and I just have never really traded war before, and so I don't pay attention to geopolitical headlines ever. Okay, and I've basically spent the last 5 days doing absolutely nothing but listening to war coverage, listening to conspiracy theories about Israel, listening to Iran geography and how their government is structured, and just like every single part and crevice and nook and cranny that you could monitor with this war, I've been monitoring, and I am here to tell you that it is fucking a mess. It's a mess. Monitoring war is such a mess, okay? Because it's basically like, okay, number one, every single news source is extremely biased, and you are not going to get what you want. Like misinfo getting thrown at you everywhere, okay? Then it's like, okay, we're in a Twitter noti era. So anyone can tweet anything, and everyone is sort of considered a news source. And so monitoring active war is like, okay, here's 200 headlines all at once. Most of them are fake. Good luck figuring out which ones are fake. And then once you figure out which ones are real, good luck figuring out which ones of them matter. Also, you're going to see crazy videos every third timeline scroll. Some of them are real, some of them are fake. The only way to know if they're real or not is if they have a community note. If they don't have a community note, they're either getting a community note in the future or it's actually real. Good luck. And bro, it's like impossible. And then I think one layer deeper, I'm like, bro, there's people trading this. Like there's people that are trading these headlines back and forth, and it is extremely difficult to navigate what's actually happening, what's real, what's fake. Also, on top of that, there's presidential posturing. And so Trump isn't going to tell you exactly what's happening. Hegseth isn't going to tell you exactly what's happening. They're also playing this art of the deal thing where they're like sensationalizing things or talking bigger than they are, talking smaller than they are. And so you basically get to the point where the only way you could actually form a thesis on how severe any particular headline is how the market reacts. But the market, low-key, is late to a lot of these things, or else there would never be a trade. And so, man, day 5 of monitoring the situation, I'm fucking tired. I am like legitimately tired. I'm tired of listening to coverage. Like it is intense. It is difficult. It is intense. I'm happy we have it in our bag now. And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say this one more thing. Having come into this with absolutely zero context, I'm good at a couple things. Okay, I know markets. I know how to trade attention. I know crypto. I'm starting to understand stocks and equities, and geopolitics is just like not my game. Being 3, 4, 5 days into this of only covering this and then watching other people's video coverage on this, we've done a pretty good job. Like, we have not really missed much. Now, was it the cleanest? No. It wasn't the cleanest, and it was not the sharpest, but we've done a pretty good job. Like, we are as up to date as you could fucking be on this thing. And so we're going to cover it a little bit more today, but I don't think we have to spend that much time on it today. I want to hit some key points, some key things to watch, a few areas where we can escalate. Of course, we're going to watch Pete Hegseth, and then we're going to go from that. So that's my intro. Roll call! Who's here? 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 Wavy, what's good? Yakamoto, what's good? Jonah, what's good? Sai, what's good? Digi, what's good? Jayla, what's good? Monkok Maxi, DJ Slumbo, Shifty, Teo, Cats, Polka, CoinJoin, House of Gollum, Palm Beach Trader, 42, 60, 26, whatever. Drogs, what's good? Live the Life TV, what's good? Viral Coin, what's good? Chunky Nuts, what's good? It's Blade, what's good? Rockefeller, what's good? Cole Money, what's good? Jackson Ray, what's good? Do you use Anthropic? Yes. You're not gonna get banned. You can use Anthropic. Hammy Time, what's good? First time chatter, welcome. Gleb. W's Gleb. Welcome. Welcome. Coffee, what's good? Sax, what's good? Hammy Time, what's good? Darth Yoda, what's good? Digimoney, what's good? What's good? DJ, Miss DJ, what's good? What's good? Seth Rogen, what's good? Bros, what's good? Bros, first time chatter, welcome, brother. Welcome. Rick Sanchez, what's good? All right. Caleb, my friend, what's good? Stone, what's good? All right, let's go. We have a lot to cover. We actually have infinite time to cover it, if I'm being honest. We actually have infinite time to cover it. But I want to show you one tweet, and then I want to start the stream. And I feel like it's only base 16Z that pushes this narrative, but it's my favorite narrative. We talk about it every day, and we're going to continue to talk about it because it's so good. I think there's something particularly pathetic about the fact that the semi-software trade and therefore the entire market has nothing to do with the actual underlying business, and it's just fast money riding escalators up and then vomiting all over each other based on vibes. Base 16Z says it's just the beginning of vibes-based asset pricing. A great 21st century ahead. This is how the world works. Vibe, you have entered the crypto market of everything. The cryptofication of everything. Everything trades on vibes. Everything moves too fast to pay attention to it for more than a weekend. We've talked about the Epstein files for 30 minutes in total of our stream. Welcome to the cryptofication of everything. Okay? 100 things happening all at once at the same time. Everything trades on vibes. Everything trades on attention. Having aura matters more than being right. Perceiving more likes matters than the truth. And everything is headed. Society is headed this direction, brothers. It's the internet, post-internet economy. Things move too fast to care about them for too long. And so we just price it in instantly and we keep moving. Smile and wave. Keep moving. That's where we're at, gentlemen. Everything is the market. Everything moves like crypto. It's the great cryptofication of everything. Okay? Speaking of, one more time before I move on. Also, Professor Jang is all over my feed. Half the people hate him. Half the people love him. I'm doing, oh, by the way, here's my strat. I forgot to tell you this. My geopolitical strat. I found the meta yesterday. Is you have to find extremely anti-American commentators and then extremely pro-American commentators, and you have to listen to them cover the same topic. This is the meta. If you want to cover geopolitics, this is the meta. Find two people talking about the same topic, one of them that hates Trump and one that loves Trump. One that hates America and one that loves America. You got to listen to both, and then you have to decide what actually happened. This is the meta. This is the meta. It's like Fox and CNN. You have to watch both. But almost like more, like CNN doesn't hate America enough. You have to go further out. You have to watch like Iranian news networks. And then you have to watch Fox. And then you have to decide what you think actually happened and where we actually are. That's the meta. And so I listen to like Breaking Points, who fucking low-key like hates Trump. They hate Trump. They hate Israel. They hate all of this. And then I watched this guy. Should I leak my sauce? Should I actually leak my sauce right now? Here he is. I watched this guy. He's like the most pro-American guy I've ever met in my life.
The B-52 Strato.
This gentleman right here. Max Afterburner.
Fortress has officially joined the...
So you watch Breaking Points and then you watch Max Afterburner and you have an answer somewhere in the middle. Somewhere right in the middle you have an answer. So, all right. Let's fucking go. We got 50 minutes. We have a lot to cover before we have a really, really, really talented guest on. And leak my sauce is sus? How is that sus? Breaking Points is supposed to be in the middle where they're not. They're not. I mean, they're not. They're just not in the middle. I mean, like, they're in the middle, but they have, like, a Chill House Soul is still a thing? With the 10 gifted? All right, Chill House Soul with the 10 gifted. Shout out Chill House Soul, man. I'm number one holder of Little Chillers. Pump that fucking thing, man. Pump it. Go donate to Kai. Thoughts on Chill House? I'm the number one holder of Little Chillers. Shout out Chill House, man. All right. Let us start with war. And then we will go backwards into crypto.
To do it in good faith.
First and foremost, you know what we're going to start with is 8 hours ago, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth gave a speech, and you know we have to watch it. So let's go. Yo, down, Hegseth? Of course. Come on. Let's go. This is today. We're going to watch the intro, then we're going to skip around. It's long, but we're not going to watch nearly the whole thing.
Well, good morning. I stand before you today with one unmistakable message about Operation Epic Fury. America is winning, decisively, devastatingly, and without mercy. Under the direct command of President Trump, the War Department unleashed this operation early Saturday morning, just 4 days ago, which means we need to remember two things. First, we are only 4 days into this. Metrics are
This was supposed to be a one-day thing, by the way. We're only 4 days in. This is going to drag on, fellas.
shifting, dust is settling, and more forces are arriving. It's very early. And as President Trump has said, we will take all the time we need to make sure that we succeed.
Okay, that's his cold open. I'm supposed to skip to 2:30. Pretty hard cold open. Rate the cold open out of 10. Rate it out of 10. I mean, pretty fresh. All right, let's go.
Iranian leaders looking up.
1.25. Let's, yeah, 1.25.
And seeing only U.S. and Israeli leaders and fixing their leaders and their military leaders. Flying over Tehran, flying over Iran, flying over their capital, flying over the IRGC. Iranian leaders looking up and seeing only U.S. and Israeli air power every minute of every day until we decide it's over. And Iran will be able to do nothing about it. B-2s, B-52s, B-1s, Predator drones, fighters, controlling the skies, picking targets. Death and destruction from the sky all day long. We're playing for keeps.
Jeez, man. Looking up all day, every day, all day long, seeing Israel and the United States on their head. Jesus.
Our warfighters have maximum authorities granted personally by the president and yours truly. Our rules of engagement are bold, precise, and designed to unleash American power, not shackle it. This was never meant to be a fair fight, and it is not a fair fight. We are punching them while they're down, which is exactly how it should be. Thus far, Operation Epic Fury has delivered twice the air power of shock and awe of Iraq in 2003, minus Paul Bremer and the nation building.
Bro. Oh my God.
A fair fight. This was never meant to be a fair fight, and it is not a fair fight. We are punching them while they're down, which is...
I mean, you can see why Trump likes this guy, right? Like he likes name physiognomy and physical physiognomy and like enunciation physiognomy.
Exactly how it should be. Thus far, Operation Epic Fury has delivered twice the air power of shock and awe of Iraq in 2003, minus Paul Bremer and the nation building. The campaign has 7 times the intensity of Israel's previous operations against Iran during the 12-day war. 7 times.
June 2025.
And as President Trump said, more and larger waves are coming. We are just getting started.
See, I don't want to hear we're just getting started, though. It's like, man, I thought this was supposed to be get in, get out, take out Supreme Leader, take out some nuclear plants. And he's talking about it's just getting started. What do you mean it's just getting started? What are you talking about it's just getting started?
We are accelerating, not decelerating. Iran's capabilities are evaporating by the hour, while American strength grows fiercer, smarter, and utterly dominant. More bombers and more fighters are arriving just today. And now, with complete control of the skies, we will be using 500-pound, 1,000-pound, and 2,000-pound GPS and laser-guided precision gravity bombs, of which we have a nearly unlimited stockpile. We used more exquisite standoff munitions at the start, but no longer need to. Our stockpiles of those, as well as Patriots, remains extremely strong.
Okay, so one of the things that happened yesterday that I'm unsure how to gauge how significant it was is U.S. Navy submarine torpedoed and sank the Iranian Navy ship. And I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true, that this is the first torpedo attack that sunk a ship since like World War II. I don't know if that's true. Is that true? Somebody fact check me that. Is that true? The first time a torpedo has sunk a ship since World War II. Look at this thing. Look, you can't even really see, but like, look, that's a ship. Why are they black and white and outdated? I don't know. It's a good question. It's not a retarded question. So, yeah. So he talks about it at 6:4. Let's skip ahead a little bit.
Ship, the Soleimani. Looks like POTUS. Combat ineffective, decimated, destroyed, defeated. Pick your adjective. In fact, last night, we sunk their prize ship, the Soleimani. Looks like POTUS got him twice.
Also, I've been told or like read that Iran's navy is like nothing. And so they did sink their prize ship, but I've read it's like nothing.
Their prize ship, the Soleimani. Looks like POTUS got him twice. Their navy not a factor. Pick your adjective. It is no more. In fact, yesterday,
Stop saying
in the Indian Ocean, and we'll play it on the screen there.
Pick your adjective.
An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. Like in that war, back when we were still the War Department, we are fighting to win. Also, yesterday, the leader of the unit who attempted to assassinate President Trump has been hunted down and killed. Iran tried to kill President Trump, and President Trump got the last laugh. Now, this is not a mission accomplished situation. This is simply a reality check. The combination of U.S. and Israeli intelligence and combat power will control Iran, and will control it soon. Sure, Iran will still be able to shoot some missiles, and still be able to launch one-way attack drones at civilian targets, and their proxies will attempt to attack our embassies, bases, and soft targets. They are terrorists, after all, and they need to target civilians because they can't fight toe-to-toe. But we will find them.
He looks like the actor that plays a president in like a Tom Cruise movie, like in a Mission Impossible. He looks like a president in Mission Impossible movie.
And we will kill them. This is what the fake news misses. We've taken control of Iran's airspace and waterways without boots on the ground. We control their fate. But when a few drones get through, or tragic things happen.
So we are setting the stage here that drones are going to get through. This is like 3 times now we've set the stage. The drones are going to get through. And they're going to they're gonna hit. That's like getting lost in between the lines here. He said it like 4 times.
It's front page news. I get it. The press only wants to make the president look bad, but try for once to report the reality. The terms of this war will be set by us at every step. As I said Monday, the mission is laser focused. Obliterate Iran's missiles and drones and facilities that produce them, annihilate its navy and critical security infrastructure, and sever their pathway to nuclear weapons. Iran will never possess a nuclear bomb, not on our watch, not ever. And this is why President Trump's moral clarity on Iran today is so...
I just thought we were done with nuclear bombs post-Operation in June.
...vital. Unlike the past, where vague red lines and endless negotiations let Iran fund terror and inch ever so slightly toward a bomb, this president sees the threat plainly and acts decisively. No more half measures, especially when Iran is at its weakest. No more letting Tehran play for time while our people pay the price. His leadership ensures that we finish what we start and that we protect our warfighters by crushing the enemy before they can strike again. Our offensive operations, refined through months of relentless preparation, are unstoppable. And our defensive efforts are unprecedented. We have from the start put the protection of our troops ahead of everything else. Before we very publicly built up offensive combat power, we quietly ensured that our defensive posture and power was in place. And as we built up offensive combat power, we moved the vast...
Dude, I'm hearing some mixed signals about U.S. defense right now with these missile interceptors. I've read some crazy stats that we're basically out of them to stop the Shahed drones that we learned about yesterday. I've read some crazy stats that we are running out of interceptors. But I also read that Iran is running out of drones. And so we're somewhere... It's like, this is the thing. It's impossible to figure out what has what. Because everywhere I'm reading, it's like we're running out of interceptors rapidly. They also cost like $1 million to a $50,000 drone that Iran is throwing. No one knows how many interceptors we have. No one knows how many drones they have. And we're just posturing back and forth. And so he's setting the stage on this press conference that drones are going to get through. But these fucking drones are nasty, bro. Like, if one of these Shahed drones gets through, it's like blowing up oil fields, like we talked about, blowing up water plants. Like, they're not like little like retail drones. These are yeah, they're big. They're like
majority
cars.
of American troops.
They're like the size of a Prius. They're like a Fiat.
90% of Americans that were on our bases, what we say off the X, out of the range of Iranian fire. Our defensive shield is equally formidable. The most sophisticated air and missile defense network ever fielded. Thousands of Iranian missiles and drones have been intercepted and vaporized. Tens of thousands of American and allied lives protected. We have pushed every counter-UAS system possible forward, sparing no expense or capability. And like I said, this does not mean we can stop everything, but we ensured that the maximum possible defense and maximum possible force protection was set up before we went on offense. In closing,
I just like don't know if that's true. I don't think that that's true. I mean, what do I know? But I don't think that's true.
as President Trump told German Chancellor Merz yesterday, Iran negotiated.
Threadguy denounces Pete Hegseth's comments on the U.S. defense
in bad faith, stalling, scheming, and preparing to strike. And we acted decisively to defend our people, our interests, and our allies. President Trump took bold action, putting America first, the kind of bold action that the American people elected him to execute. To our steadfast partner, Israel, your mission is being executed with unmatched skill and iron determination. Fighting shoulder.
What is the mission? We're day 4 on this. Your mission.
To shoulder with such a capable ally is a true force multiplier and a breath of fresh air.
Because our allies are retarded or what?
We salute your courage and your contribution. 4 days in, we have only just begun to fight.
Dude, this thing is just not going to stop. We've only just begun to fight. It's like, bro. Really? That's where we're at? We've only just begun to fight is terrifying. Okay, I can skip ahead. Skip to what, 17?
Let me flip to the map here. Hopefully I don't kill anybody with a laser pointer. As I mentioned earlier.
What was that? Wait, what? What did he just say?
Hopefully I don't kill anybody with that we consider that an operational security matter. Let me flip to the map here. Hopefully I don't kill anybody with a laser pointer. As I mentioned earlier, and
Direct energy weapon coded?
for you with the camera right there, my friend, I hope I don't ricochet off and hurt you. Over the initial days, the U.S. Joint Forces continued to attack and attrit ballistic missile capabilities as well as integrated air defense capabilities along the southern axis.
We're really at war, bro.
Along the northern axis, Israel and the Israeli Air Force has predominantly been working integrated air defense targets along the northern flank, as well as medium-range ballistic missile capability as well. From the sea, the USS Ford has continued to project combat power here, as well as the bomber pulses that we talked about in the opening days of this briefing. Along the southern axis, the USS Abraham
Okay, this guy's the highest-ranking military officer.
Lincoln Strike Group has continued to provide pressure from the sea along the southeastern side of the coast and has been attriting naval capability all along the strait and up into the Arabian Gulf at a size and scale sufficiently to address the targets required. To date, we've hit over 2,000 targets, as Admiral Cooper said in his video last night. We've destroyed more than 20 Iranian naval vessels, including, in addition to the frigate outside of the area, one submarine, and effectively neutralized at this point in time Iran's major naval presence in theater out there. As the Secretary showed the video, for the first time since 1945, a United States Navy fast attack submarine has sunk an enemy combatant ship using a single Mark 48 torpedo to achieve immediate effect, sending the
1945? What the fuck we've been doing in the water the whole time? I guess it's just like it's been peaceful.
warship to the bottom of the sea. I want to remind everybody that this is an incredible demonstration of America's global reach. To hunt, find, and kill an out-of-area deployer is something that only the United States can do at this type of scale. Over the next 24 to 48 hours...
So I like how he's just flying through this. Like, he's just like, U.S. is lit. Period.
Our CENTCOM will continue to strike infrastructure and naval capability, and we'll continue to assess our progress against the military objectives. It does take time for us to collect that information and to assess en route. Much of our intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capability is currently hunting and killing ballistic missile launchers and one-way attack capability. We're precise in that assessment, and we call balls and strikes in that assessment. We
call balls and strikes.
We take that matter seriously. Iran, on the other hand, has been indiscriminate and more imprecise in their attacks. They fired more than 500 ballistic missiles and more than 2,000 drones, striking innocent civilian targets throughout the region. Our partners are answering the call to defend themselves right alongside us. Jordan, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, and Kuwait are all defending their people with their own combat capability, with precision and restraint. Jordania.
Yeah, where are they? What is this? This is like a cafeteria at a school. Where are they?
Iranian air defense crews recently intercepted a cluster of Iranian one-way attack drones headed to Oman. Bahrain's air defense forces shot down an inbound drone approaching Manama's maritime infrastructure, protecting both their population and critical shipping lanes. Saudi Patriot batteries stopped a salvo of ballistic missiles aimed at energy facilities near Dhahran. The UAE neutralized multiple drones targeting Abu Dhabi's industrial zone, demonstrating speed and precision. And Qatari fighters for the first time have shot down 2 Iranian bombers that were en route to their location. Together, these nations are helping to defend themselves and project power as required against the enemy.
Jeez.
We're 100 hours in. It's still very early, as the Secretary said, but the balance is...
Please stop saying that. All right, there's a question we could skip. Wait. Please stop
shifting.
saying that.
We've always got to remember that these operations are complex, dangerous, and far from over. Our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Guardians, and Coast Guardsmen remain in harm's way, and we must be clear-eyed that the risk is still high. This is combat. Let us never forget this. As we continue, I ask that we hold all of our deployed teammates in our thoughts, those standing the watch, flying the sorties, sustaining the fight, and carrying our nation's burden. And I'll stop where I started, and that's remembering our 6 fallen who will return home as soon as possible.
Rest in peace.
I remain humbled.
All right, rest in peace, rest in peace, rest in peace. There is a question at 24 maybe. Wait, 28:30. That's by AI. And we're gonna move on in a second.
In a particular, hey, what makes the most sense to do this to ensure that the narrow objectives we have of ensuring they never have a nuclear weapon have a maximum effect? Yes, right here.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth. I had two questions. First, what is your message to Iran's allies, namely Russia and China, who have called for an immediate end to hostilities?
I don't have a message for them, and they're not really a factor here. And our issue is not with them, it's with the nuclear ambitions of Iran.
Absolutely. And are any so-called fully autonomous weapons or other AI tools being used in Operation Epic Fury?
Good fucking question. Who is this guy? Good question.
We've got a lot of autonomous systems or systems that drones and others incorporated with smart AI aspects to them, but a lot of which I can't talk about here. Yeah. Yellow, right there. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Not answer. Okay, there's one more thing I want to cover. 33. And then we're done with Hegseth for now.
As I said, that we set the tone and the tempo of this fight. That's why stories and speculation about different things that try to make it look like we're limited in what we can do. The only limits we have in this is President Trump's desire to achieve specific effects on behalf of the American people. And that's why we don't talk about, you can say 4 weeks, but it could be 6, it could be 8, it could be 3. Ultimately, we set the pace and the tempo.
It could be 8, chat. It could be 8 weeks.
Desire to achieve specific effects on behalf of the American people. And that's why we don't talk about, you can say 4 weeks, but it could be 6, it could be 8, it could be 3. Ultimately, we set the pace and the tempo. The enemy is off balance, and we're going to keep them off balance. And we know their ability to shoot versus our ability to defend, that difference gets wider and wider every day. Our defense gets better, their offensive capabilities diminish. As we are going into ammunitions that we, as we said, have tens of thousands of and can drop unlimited supplies on with even more effects than the standoff munitions we have now, which is why when we say the throttle's going up, the throttle's going up, and it's going to stay on high. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Okay. That was Pete Hegseth in his speech. Look, the obvious takeaway from this is that, first of all, that guy's a fucking freak. Second of all, is it just feels, also, if you're on YouTube and you want to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy, it just feels like this thing is not going to stop. I don't know. It just feels like we're still pricing in war being over in like a day, and it's not happening. And so, okay, so here's the deal. Is I spent all day yesterday trying to like consume as much information as possible to figure out what our escalation cases. Like, what are we actually looking for to be like, holy fuck, shit is escalating? And there's a lot, and obviously geopolitics are like really complicated, and I don't know the half of it. But the one thing that I feel confident is obvious escalation is what's happening with this, the Strait of Hormuz. And this is important. This is very important because I think 15 to 20% of the world's oil flows through here. And I think it's like 75, 80, 85% of Japan's oil flows through here. Like, this thing has to open up at some point, okay? And people would go to war for oil, right? This thing has to open up. And here it is on a map. So look at this map. Marine vessel traffic. Look at this. Marine vessel traffic. And so all of these icons on the map are boats, are ships, mostly oil tankers. And this right here is the strait. Right here is the strait. This is it right here that they have to get through. And no one's going through. Like, it is actually closed, okay? Everyone is, there's all these boats right here. There's all these boats right here. There's all these boats right here. And yeah, there is nothing straight around it. And so it seems like China's allowed through, allegedly. And potentially some partners are allowed through. But from my understanding, no one has gone through since Iran declared this thing closed like a day or two ago. As I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, but as I understand it, nobody has made it through. And Iran said it's closed and we will fucking come after you. Trump said that we will be doing naval escorts and we will be guiding ships through and they will be going through. But everything that I read said that a naval escort from the United States of America would cost more in protection than the cargo on the ships is actually worth. But at some point, someone's going to go through. Like, you just have to go through. That isn't China, okay? That isn't allowed. At some point, Japan's got to get through. U.S. has to get through. People are going to have to get through. And whatever happens there, like if they fucking are blowing up oil tankers, this thing escalates significantly. If they aren't blowing up oil tankers, then the market continues to think, yeah, maybe this isn't the craziest deal in the world. And now we don't have, I mean, look, this is crude right now. Look at this shit. It's starting to fucking, bro, it's starting to candle, man. And I think, look, again, what are our proxies for escalation here is hard. There's so much information. I'm not a geopolitical expert. This is an obvious one to me, is oil. Oil. The higher Brent goes, the more of a world problem it is. The higher CL crude futures go, the more of an us problem it is. Okay? And these things, there's some delta in between both on how much is it a you problem versus a we problem. And I mean, even since we started this stream, market is starting to say it's a we problem. Okay. What is this huge gap? This is a fucking, yeah, gap. Market close. Gap up. Market is starting to say this is a we problem. Okay. I also saw this tweet, which is like, let's see. US gas prices. Yeah. Average gas price rise to $3.20 for the first time since September 25. And I think it's the biggest one-day gap up in gasoline prices in like many years. And so I don't even know the best way to follow this. Like, when are ships getting through? But that is like our obvious escalation. And I think the best way to track that is the price of oil. So what is crude futures doing and what is Brent doing? And they're sort of fringe, but ready to fucking pop. The other thing, also, you want some alpha? I put in the work so you guys can just fucking get the alpha. Best follow on Twitter right now for Strait of Hormuz is this fella right here. You're welcome. You're welcome. Follow him. Note he's on. It's annoying. He's like brutal, but he's fucking smart, and he seems to know what's happening in the shipping industry. You're welcome. Now, the other thing, so it's like, okay, oil escalation. Second thing we're gonna watch, to me that's obvious, is troops on the ground. Okay? And the narrative right now is that Trump and the US are funding or threatening to fund or maybe going to fund Kurdish forces in Iran, like factions, basically, to fight the Shia in Iran. And the more, like, this is an escalation. Troops on the ground escalation. And then this is also an escalation. Is Pete Hegseth, we watched it live. He didn't exactly say 8 weeks, but 8 weeks. And then any discourse at all about troops, American troops on the ground, is also escalation. And so discourse headlines about American troops on the ground and then oil prices, I think, at least have what I've deducted after 3 days of being a geopolitical expert as the two most important proxies for us to figure out how intense this is getting. Now, from what I've read, there's never been, I don't know if there's ever been a successful regime change in history, but there definitely hasn't been one without boots on the ground. And we are insinuating that we won't need them. And I'm not sure if that's exactly true or possible. But this, a little bit uncomfortable. And we're going to just have to follow this. And so, Strait of Hormuz, what happens here? And then boots on the ground, what happens there? Otherwise, we're just going to sit here and we're going to watch. I really don't want to play this. Should we play this? replay. Geoguesser, Middle East countries. I want to talk about Bitcoin. We have 20 minutes.
Lebanon,
All right. Quick.
Saudi Arabia,
Let's fucking go, man. I'm actually locked in. I'm not gonna lie, I was practicing before stream. Saudi Arabia.
Turkey,
Turkey. Nah.
Jordan,
Jordan is.
Egypt,
Dude.
Qatar,
I'm so back. No.
Oman,
Oman. I don't know what Oman is. I'm not gonna lie.
Bahrain, Syria,
Chat Syria,
Israel,
Israel.
Yemen, United Arab
Damn, I'm
Emirates,
actually locked in.
Iraq, Iran, Kuwait, Cyprus,
Bro, I'm fucking locked in. I just one-shotted this whole thing. 76% is nuts. I just one-shotted this whole thing, bro. I one-shotted this whole thing. Thank you. Thank you. I really studied, bro. Hey, chat, be honest. Be honest. Before I move to crypto, be honest. That's actually crazy. Before I move to crypto, what do you think of my geopolitical summary on war and where we're at right now? Be honest. What did you think of my summary? Now locate Denmark. Nah, no shot. There's not that much more to read for you guys, really. Like yeah, there's not that much more to read. So okay, now the biggest question comes in. Which is crypto. Is this move real? First of all, poll from the chat. Real, fake on Bitcoin. What do we think? Real or fake move? Retrace or keep going? Everyone thinks fake. Lesson in that. Actual lesson in that, huh? Everyone in the chat thinks fake. The whole chat thinks fake. Look. It's too early to tell. Which is unfortunate. We did, though, get to a point where we were just set up for crypto to perform well. We just did. Like, I mean, dude, we dumped 60%. We got everything out. DATS unraveled. Clarity Act pushed back. I mean, we had everything you could ever want unravel this fucking chart. 10-10. You had everything happen. And then you get to a spot where you're like, okay, we are in the middle of major geopolitical unrest, severe geopolitical unrest. And Bitcoin is acting presumably as a hedge against geopolitical unrest. And something unique here is nothing else is. Like, alts are not, we're not like ripping alts at all. Like, Zcash is up 12, but Pump's up sub 10. Athena's up 6. I mean, we're not ripping alts at all. Ave's up 5. Like, BNB's up 4. We're not ripping alts. This is a Bitcoin move. This is a Bitcoin dominance is up over 1%. This is a Bitcoin move. This is a Bitcoin move, which is either really bullish or really bearish. I know that's not very helpful. But it seems to me that at the very least, we are acting well amongst geopolitical unrest. Now, we don't really get freedom from the software narrative yet. We don't get freedom from the software narrative. IGV is up 2%. Candling. IGV's candling. My Palantir, which you guys know I'm a Palantir holder, yellow's my entry, is trading really well. And software is just like pumping. Tech is pumping. Markets were green today. Markets were green today. And so I'm not really here to comment on whether or not I think the move is real. My whole portfolio is in Bitcoin. I believe Bitcoin is the greatest asset of all time. I just hold Bitcoin. I don't really trade Bitcoin. I don't really think it's to be traded. But I do think that in this moment, there is geopolitical unrest, and a lot of people are like, man, if you're stuck in Dubai or you're stuck in some of these Middle East countries, like you can't really leave with gold. And it's like the tulip kingism, which is like, once you realize you need Bitcoin, you're too late. And so I'm more so here to cover it rather than tell you what I think. And what I think is that there's some things lining up right now, okay? And one of them is this Trump headline we skipped yesterday, which reads as such. The Genius Act is being threatened and undermined by the banks. That is unacceptable. By the way, he posted this during, like, we're striking Iran. He's talking about crypto. This is why I skipped over it yesterday. I couldn't believe we're talking about crypto. Respect. We are not going to allow it. The U.S. needs to get market structure done ASAP. Americans should earn more money on their money. The banks are hitting record profits, and we are not going to allow them to undermine our powerful crypto agenda that will end up going to China and other countries if we don't get the Clarity Act taken care of. China doesn't want crypto, and that's fine. The Genius Act was the USA's first big step to make the United States the crypto capital of the world, and getting the Clarity Act done is the next step to finish the job. Most importantly, keep this big and powerful industry in our country. The banks should not be trying to undercut the Genius Act or hold the Clarity Act hostage. They need to make a good deal with the crypto industry because that's what's in the best interest of the American people. This industry cannot be taken from the people of America when it's so close to being truly successful. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Now, there is a huge vibe shift on this Clarity Act, if you've been following it, which is basically this thing, it gets to the final stage, and Brian Armstrong comes up from the Raptors, and he says, no fucking way this bill sucks. And everyone's like, Baldy Lux, what the fuck are you talking about? Why does this bill suck? And it basically declares yield on stablecoins illegal. And because the banks are freaking out and are like, no, you cannot give yield on stablecoins. And Brian's like, no, yes, we can. And this whole deal fucking blows up. And Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan and all these banks are coming after Brian Armstrong and calling him retarded. And Brian like dies on the hill. There's nothing. And then Trump comes out and calls out the banks, which is a complete vibe shift, by the way, complete sentiment shift that he's coming after the banks. And so I have a video. I haven't watched it. I think it's a pretty good summary of what's happened. And the Clarity Act had probably went from a sell the news event at 120 to we're now at 70K. All news is good news. And it's probably like buy the news, actually, when this thing eventually gets passed. It feels like we're lining up for that. And so it's, again, another topic that's like a 180 shift. We'll watch it on 1.5 and just skip through it. In 12 minutes, I have an incredible guest coming on, so apologies if I'm rushing through a couple things. We are going to have a sick trader, one of the best in the game, come on. He talks about all the things we talk about all day, so I'm excited. Let's see what we got.
The most important thing to take away from Trump's post is that it is even further proof that we are nowhere close to a deal. I'll take you through the last few
That's also true.
days because they've been insane. So let's go back to Friday because that's when stuff started getting really crazy. The White House, as I'm sure a lot of your listeners are plugged into, have been holding these negotiations between the banking lobby and the crypto lobby. There's this tension between the two sides. That's the main thing, not the only thing, but the main thing that's holding up the Clarity Act right now. And it's all about stablecoin rewards. Crypto really wants them, especially Coinbase. The banking side really doesn't want crypto to have that. So the White House said, and has been saying for weeks, we need a deal done by March 1st. The reason they're saying that is because Congress is going to grind to a halt pretty soon. There's a little disagreement about when that is, but by April or May, definitely by the end of May, nothing's happening in Congress because of the midterms coming up and everyone getting distracted about raising money for their own races and defending their own seats. If something's going to happen this year, it's got to happen this spring. That's the situation. So the White House said,
So they're rushing this deadline, and Brian's like, no, we will not be rushed. And everyone's like, well, hey, dumbass, rush it or there's no deal. And he said, I'd rather have there be no deal than a bad deal.
We need a deal on this thing by March 1st. So on Friday, March 1st was coming up pretty soon, and there was crickets about a deal. So on Friday afternoon, I spoke with one of the main banking side negotiators in these White House meetings. And I asked him, like, hey, haven't heard anything. Is there going to be a deal? And the banking side person kind of went off and was like, nope, there's no deal at all. They keep saying we're close to a deal. We're not close to a deal. It's obviously the banking side. So they're saying their side, and they're saying Coinbase isn't negotiating. Coinbase isn't even starting to give up what they want. And until they do, honestly, this is what the banking person told me. It's like, we want a deal here. We want to reach a negotiation, but we're not close to one. And in our view, the banking side's view, if this isn't fixed and done and passed by April, it's not going to happen. So I got off the phone and I'm like, wow, okay, that's saucy. And I posted this on Twitter on Friday afternoon, what I had heard from this banking side person. I don't know if you saw it, but everyone in crypto went off. Patrick Witt, who's in charge of the President's Council on Digital Assets, David Sachs got involved, every major crypto lobbyist, Andreessen Horowitz, Coinbase, all getting kind of pissed and saying like, this is totally an unfair characterization. Coinbase has been at the negotiating table. The White House has been great. It's really the banks that are holding this up. But it's funny, there was
I missed this. I missed David Sachs. When was this? Where was I for this?
so much pushback, and so many people were like quoting what I posted. But the one thing no one pushed back on was the fact that they weren't close to a deal. No one seemed to dispute that, which was kind of the interesting signal in all the noise. Then you saw it continue to get more dramatic after the March 1st deadline passed over the weekend, because now it's getting hot in the room. Now it's like crunch time, right? Because there's supposed to already be a deal. On Monday afternoon, you had Jamie Dimon, the most powerful banker in the world, CEO of JP Morgan Chase. He was asked about this by CNBC. He did not sound like a guy who was close to a deal. He was saying, hey, Coinbase, if you want to become a bank, become a bank. Otherwise, F off, basically. And said, we have to deal with all these regulations on our bank accounts that offer yield. It would be totally unfair if crypto companies get stablecoin rewards. And he used pretty stark terms. He was like, if this happens, if this status quo is allowed to continue, the public will pay. Things will get bad. Like kind of like Jamie Dimon foreshadowing, like this could like mess up the whole economy. So like that is not the sound of a guy who's like close to signing a deal, because the banking trades are not going to do something that Jamie
Because it fucking competes with JP Morgan.
Dimon, the most powerful banker in America, is not cool with. I'm just saying
it.
that myself, but I think that's a fair assumption to make. So you have that on Monday, Jamie Dimon going off. What do you have yesterday? Things go even crazier. One, some crypto people go to the White House. Brian Armstrong, Coinbase CEO, is at the White House. He meets with Trump yesterday afternoon. Politico first reported that meeting. And then as we all
By the way, Trump is in the middle of Iranian war and we're doing a Bitcoin Clarity Act. Like people are fucking serious about getting this bill done.
saw early evening yesterday, you have Trump himself on Truth.
This is going to flip. Bitcoin as a proxy for Trump being bad is going to flip for Bitcoin being a proxy for Trump is good. It's going to I think this is going to flip, by the way. I really think this is going to flip. This sentiment is going to flip. It's going to flip. It was bad all the way down, but now on the way up, it's good.
Social posting, getting into the nitty gritty, into the trenches, talking about the Clarity Act, talking about stablecoin rewards, saying that the banking lobby is holding the Clarity Act hostage. I mean, really, really about as stark as terms you could get from Trump himself, wading into this and fully taking crypto's side, fully dunking on the banks. So that was last night. So the question is, where are we at? I know, Farouk, you want some good news here, but it is my solemn obligation to give you the truth wherever that may lead.
Whatever the truth is, Sander.
Yes, whatever the truth is, wherever it shall lead us. You see Trump posting about the Clarity Act, and you're like, okay, could there be a more bullish signal than that? I wouldn't be so quick to come to that conclusion. Like, I was just speaking right before this with someone on the crypto side whose opinion I really trust about this stuff, like a top policy leader. And I asked them, like, what do you make of this? And they said, the most important thing to take away from Trump's post is that it is even further proof that we are nowhere close to a deal. He would not be doing this if we were not really far from a deal. And I think that that's true. I think since Friday, since I heard that from the banking side, nothing has changed. And Jamie Dimon's comment only reiterated that. The question is, does Trump applying pressure like this move the banks? Does it get the banks sweating? And I would say you've seen past situations where Trump does something like this, goes hard on Truth Social, and it gets, Republicans into line, gets them to vote for something. But the thing is, you're dealing not with legislators right now, you're dealing with the banking lobby. And the question is, like, does this move them? And a couple of people I've spoken to think this doesn't really change the underlying dynamic.
So that's where we're at. By the way, the whole like Truth Social bit is so funny, bro. Like, why Trump posted on Truth Social? It's like, bro, it's like really funny. I'm sorry. So that's where we are now. Couple things here. One, ETF inflows ticking up for the first time in a while, significant while. We had 2 days ago, we had almost 500 million. You can't see this, can you? This is total ETF inflows in millions. So 200 million out on February 23rd is bad. We had 458 million come in 2 days ago, and we had 225 million come in yesterday, ETF inflows. So people are fucking buying again. One, which is incredible to see. Here's a stupid clip we could watch just for fun.
I'm comfortable to say out loud, I'm buying Bitcoin left and right the last 48 hours because I'm cost averaging out. Yeah. It was $1.25. It's 68,000. It can go down to 30,000. If I said here right now, y'all, you have to buy Bitcoin, and you guys aired this tomorrow, I'm sure you have a process. But if you did, and it goes from 68 to 42, people are gonna be mad at me. But I'm saying 68 buy now for 13 years from now.
Right. A podcast tour is like happening. He's on Ryan Clark podcast talking about buy Bitcoin. we'll talk about this in a minute. I want to give this more time. But there's just, I don't know, you're starting to see like Morgan Stanley, Bitcoin ETF gets filed. Here's this chart, which is crazy because we're now, I can't annotate this, but we're now at 73.2. So we're right here. And the yellow circle is where Dubai announces their stock market is closed. My cursor is where we are right now. And there is absolutely a Middle East bid coming in. It's also like we were talking about this with on company call before stream. It's like the Middle East is like in like Dubai is like the most crypto native more than America place. Let's see what this is. What is this that you just sent me? Like the most crypto native. Please don't be something stupid. Okay, okay. Oh, I saw this. I'll come back to it. And so, yeah, we're basically like, okay, I've reflected on this morning's Bitcoin news for a couple hours. The combination of Kraken getting a Federal Reserve master account and Morgan Stanley filing for a Bitcoin ETF with Bank of New York Mellon as custodian feels like just another institutional adoption news day. But in reality, it's probably one of those days that changes the game again forever in Bitcoin's favor. And then, yeah, an alt. Alt struggling this move can only be one or two things, up or down. Subscribe to my channel for more thoughts like this. And so I can't tell that it's a Dubai bid, like for a fact. I can't tell you that for a fact. But it's just lining up very clear. And it's giga outperforming gold right now. That's probably the most alarming stat out of all this. Gold's up 1% on the day. It was red yesterday. Bitcoin's up 7.5%. And so the last few days we have had a bid coming in that is intense, it is strong, and is relentless. Sound like Pete Hegseth is relentless. And so that's where we are with Bitcoin. After this guest, our good friend Dario from Anthropic did this speech yesterday, or this written report, and he is bull posting AI. He's basically saying, guys, it is about to get so fucking crazy in AI. I am screaming, I'm sounding the alarms, and nobody is prepared. Why is nobody prepared? Nonstop, 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 nonstop. And so what we're going to do right now is I have a guest coming on for the first time in a long time, by the way, chat. We haven't had a guest on. We have a guest on all of this week, all of last week. Our most recent guest was, I don't even know who our most recent guest was. Who did we have on? Mando? I don't even know who was last. Suspended Cap, aka Contrarian Curse, who is very adjacent to what we talk about. He kind of covers, he's not really a diehard crypto guy, to at least what I understand, but he covers all the stuff we cover. He's talking about SaaS, talking about AI, talking about Citrini article, talking about the war trade, talking about oil, talking about tech stocks. He's long Nvidia, he's long Apple. Like, we have a lot of crossover. And I think, I don't actually know, but I think he's one of the best stock traders in the game. And so I'm obsessed with his tweets. His tweets are on our stream doc every single day. Some shit he said is on the stream doc every day. And I think this guy knows ball. I think he knows ball. And so he's going to come on right now. I'm primarily interested in the war trade, SaaS, how good AI is, and everything that he's long. A little bit of Korean stocks. Like, I want to cover all of that. And so he's going to be the guy for it. He's going to come on for unclear how long, but I think this is one you probably want to listen to, especially for positioning and things of that nature. So I think he's an actual portfolio manager as well. Yeah. So, all right. I am going to get up right now. I'll be back in 30 seconds. When I do, Suspended Cap's coming on. Let's get it. I'm not bringing you bad guests ever. I haven't done a guest in 2 weeks for a reason. I really think I do have a good one for you guys. He just tweeted, which is honestly aura. Honestly, aura. So if you are watching on Twitter and you are like, oh my God, everyone's chatting, it looks so fun. That is twitch.tv/threadguy. That's the only place that I read chats. Even if you're on YouTube, you two guys, I'm sorry, you guys get squeezed. You get squeezed. All right, let's go. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited. This is a fun fellow. So all right, let's get it. Let me just pull a tweet real quick. He had a crazy tweet. I want to read it to him. Hold on. Music was a good transition. Oh, ads are crazy. Yeah, if you have ads, I can't help you. Twitch is just annoying. I can't turn them off on Twitch. I try to do no ads. It's annoying. There's nothing I can do. All right. Let's go. Contrarian cap right now. Contrarian curse. Suspended cap. Back and forth. Also, Morgan Stanley just announced they'll have 2,000 employees across all divisions. Crazy. We'll cover that after this. All right, let's get it. Yo, yo, yo.
Hey, man. How's it going?
What's up, dude? Welcome to the stream, man. It's great to meet you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I'll go easy on the glaze in the beginning. We could do it at the end, but I've become a fan, man. We're a crypto stream, so we primarily have covered crypto every single day. Just due to proximity, we've been really deep on all the AI stuff. Obviously, you venture into like Citrini Doom article, AI SaaS, and then we're now geopolitical war speculators as well. And
That's right.
Through this transition, I've been saying, like, dude, one of your tweets makes it into our stream doc every single day, and so you've become like you've had a lot of FaceTime, a lot of screen time on the stream recently. So, do you want to start with like a quick intro, who you are, what you do, as much as you want to share, and then we can get into some of the fun stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll keep it anonymous as I usually do. But I am a portfolio manager. I'm from Canada. I used to work exclusively on U.S. equities, and then kind of took over a new mandate last summer. So I manage just over $1 billion. It's a global fund, so I can really own anything. The core of the fund is still U.S. equities, just because that's kind of like my bread and butter. But it's a good mandate because I can really buy anything that I want. So at the fund level, I am running it more of like an institutional type fund, with the considerations that go into that. But I also am like very active personally within the constraints that I'm given. My like core expertise I kind of came up with as an analyst was in semiconductors, and I started in 2018.
Okay.
I would have never guessed when I started in 2018, like where, that things would be the way they are today. But it's kind of worked out that, where my core expertise is kind of, where all the excitement and everybody's focusing in the market. So it's worked out well, and it's, been a good contributor to performance over the last few years, especially. So yeah, it's a little bit about me. I don't know how many people on the stream like following stuff. I'm always bitching about Canada, and I want to, how I want to get down to the U.S. So maybe one day, but we'll see.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can hear the Canada, and also you said 1B really casually right there, which is awesome. So
I think I kind of just sound like a Minnesotan. I
you
for U.S. listeners.
you do sound
anytime I've been down in Minneapolis, I'm like, oh, you just sound like me.
Yeah, Nick Shirley mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, dude, it's great to have you here. I mean, look, the timing of this is fascinating with so many things going on. I hate to start with like a heavy one, but I kind of want to just get into it. And you made this tweet that I won't read the whole tweet back to you, but it starts with, I'm not much of a geopool guy, but this is ultimately, I think, pretty historical stuff from Trump. And you ended the long tweet with, every time a bomb goes off isn't World War III. This might be Trump's legacy achievement. So if you're not a geopool guy, I really am not, but we've done our best to monitor over the last really 3 days here since this weekend on stream. And I'm most interested in figuring out, like, how is the market going to react to this? What's going to do well? What's going to get hit? And how are we tracking how the situation is escalating? Do you want to start with just like your general framework for how you're thinking about being positioned through where we are right now with geopolitical tension and like what your general read is on it?
Yeah, so maybe it's worth explaining like how I kind of view this administration
Sick.
generally. And I think there's two things that the administration are worried about more than anything. And one, it's the deficit and how high interest rates are, and then two is China and their sort of ascendancy and their sort of like tech competition, that is a new thing for the U.S. I don't think they've ever had to worry about their place technologically, and now I think China has been like fairly ascendant, even though they're kind of just ripping off everything that the U.S. is doing. But that aside, I think that's the two things that they're worried about. So the reason that you go to Venezuela, the reason why you got to be careful about what you do in Iran is because if you start to take oil supply offline, you will start to get inflation, you'll start to get higher input costs, and then that limits their ability to reduce interest rates, which causes the problems around the deficit. So they made sure that they secured Venezuela first. They made sure that OPEC is pumping. They made sure that they're pumping, and they did a pretty good job. They got barrels down to $55, and now they have a little bit of kind of breathing room to do what they need to do in Iran, and kind of stabilize that region. Now, I think on the other side of this, the goal is that you actually get, like, they're not blowing up the oil facilities in Iran for a reason.
Yeah.
If they really, really wanted to hurt Iran, not only the regime but economically, they would just blow up all those facilities. But that would feed into their inflation goals,
Got it.
kind of going the other way. So I think what they want is they actually want a stable Middle East that's pumping shitloads of oil, and they can keep barrels with a lid on them, and that kind of helps them with their interest rate goals. So that's kind of how I view it. I don't think they want this to spiral out of control. I think this also explains why Iran is kind of lashing out at the Gulf partners, is because they want to cause disruption,
Cause mayhem, right?
Yeah, and that's the best way to actually get the U.S. off their back is pressuring barrels the best that they can. Now, I don't think they're going to be all that successful, but I think that's how it's all connected. I don't think the U.S. politically wants to be taking on. They don't want a protracted war. They know that there's no bipartisan support for another Middle East war. So I think they've got a limited amount of time. I think they're ultimately going to be successful. I don't know if they're going to get full-on regime change and they're going to be having like democratic votes next year in Iran or anything like that. You probably end up with like another theocratic leader, but one that kind of is just glad to be alive, and you have them being like fairly compliant. And and at the end of the day, like, I try to stay out of this. Like, yeah, obviously the Israel stuff is very like heated and divisive, and I kind of try to stay out of that. But I think what you can say about it is that the reason they couldn't do anything to Iran in the past is because Hamas and Hezbollah were so active and disruptive, and so they've kind of taken the knees out of both of those groups. So like, this was the time to do it. They had to take this window. If you waited another year or two, you let those groups recover, you let them sort of retrench, and then you have a lot bigger issues about ever sort of taking action against them. And then always talking to Iran and being like, well, you guys are going to stop with the nukes, right? They're like, yeah. But, well,
right?
Like, how many times are you going to hear that until it's like, okay, enough of this. We got to do something about it. So, yeah, that's kind of my view. I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it's a problem unless barrels get above $90.
Okay, so once we're above 90, you were like, okay. So what does that look like? Barrels get above $90, and what happens then?
Well, I think what happens is interest rates start to tick up, and then people are going to start to price out, the cut or two that is kind of baked in for the year.
Got it.
And I think at the end of the day, like, what's supportive of equities is just like forward support, or at least like bullets in the chamber for support. Like, if you get a weakening economy, whereas like I think consumer and jobs data is like fairly soft, it's not. But it's actually supportive of equities because it's like, okay, they actually have headroom to continue to be supportive. If you take the ability to have monetary support, if you need it, off the table, then you got problems for equities.
I see.
So I think That's the mechanism in which this pressures equities is like you get input costs to go up too high, and it takes the ability to respond on with monetary policy off the table.
So
But we're a ways away.
I'm a rookie situation monitor on some of this geopool stuff, but from my like novice watching here, it feels like every day the timeline gets crazier. It's like it's one day, then it's 5, and then it's 3, then it's as long as we want, and then Pete Hegseth this morning is like 8 weeks, 10 weeks, and then we're talking about boots on the ground. Like it feels like timeline here starts to expand significantly. Now I don't have like a ton of history monitoring, Trump admin in a similar situation, but what is spiraling out? Like you mentioned this at the beginning, spiraling out of control for the U.S. They don't want that to happen. Do you think it already has, or what would that look like if we were to get there?
Like I think my sense is that this has already been a little more difficult than they planned for.
Feels like it, right?
Yeah, I think probably what caught them off guard was the retaliation against like the Gulf states, because I think on paper that looks like very sort of like irrational, but I actually think it's a good way to sort of be disruptive, and then you kind of get indirect pressure through those Gulf states for the U.S. to back off. So I feel like Iran is like, you know what, if we can just hang on, and like just survive another couple weeks, they will get pressured to stop, and then we can keep our regime and we can do a new leader, and then we start to sort of negotiate with them. I think that's their view. Now, like, the problem is if the US really wanted to like make Iran squeal, they could, but it's also very unpopular to do the bidding of Israel and kill a bunch of civilians. That's very difficult. In an election year with midterms, like if they start killing tens of thousands of people in Tehran, they're going to get wiped in the election. They know that that's not popular, especially when what happened in Palestine is very divisive already.
Yes.
So it's I think Tehran's just trying to hold on. It's the sense that I get, and the U.S. is surprised what they had in their pocket, and that they lashed out at people in the Gulf.
And the longer you hold on, the more of a major problem you create. What is your like? By the way, I'm done with the monitor the situation term. I think it's like getting cringe. Narrative violation is my new favorite. But what is your like strat or your stack to follow everything that's happening? Like, are you just terminally Twitter?
Yeah, like I'm just on Twitter a lot. Like I wouldn't be in any like specialized discords or anything like that. I think just like, I don't know. I made a tweet a few weeks ago about like a client emailing me being like, "Hey, have you seen this CNN thing?" And I'm like, "Brother, I've seen it. Don't worry. Like I'm on my Bloomberg all day. Like I see everything that comes across the wire. Don't worry." So I don't know. I love this stuff. So I'm usually pretty tapped in, and like I think one of the knock-on benefits of me kind of being in like a small finance market is like I don't participate in the game of telephone quite as much. So usually I'm trying to come up with my own views and what makes sense to me. So yeah, it's just a lot of Twitter, and it sounds crazy, but like I don't know if it kind of coincides with AI as well, but I just feel like if you're not on Twitter as an investor in generally, like things just move so much quicker now that things get priced in really quickly, and I think you need to be, that's the best place to kind of get real time.
And stuff, things do, I fully agree with you. Things do get priced in alarmingly quickly right now, and it feels like outside of some oil moves, which I relatively new and following as well, like there hasn't been much of a stock reaction. Things are green today. I feel like a lot of our like best crypto traders got really bearish and started hammering puts on SPY and are like driving themselves crazy right now because this thing just like won't go down. And I guess the market doesn't seem to think that this thing is going to spiral out of control. And so how are you positioned right now? I saw you buying Nvidia calls. I saw you posting about Apple. How are you positioned right now, and how has your positioning changed as like tensions escalate?
Yeah, like I didn't do any sort of like I have quite a high cash balance in general. Like that's been my way of kind of protecting downside and making sure that I have like capital to deploy if I see kind of dislocations. I had huge semi positions over the last couple of years. Those have like pretty well all come off. I've got stuff specifically in the sort of Nvidia supply chain. I've got a lot of software that I've bought. Like, I think it's gonna work out pretty well. I've got kind of like, I got Amazon, I got Apple, I got Disney. I kind of got like I got a smattering of things in there right now. So it's not as like I'm kind of a firm believer in the like, there's times to make money and there's times to survive, and this feels more like a time to survive. So I'm pretty happy with the way I've traded, even though I haven't made a lot of returns in the last month, but I've definitely survived pretty well relative to like some stuff. Like not only like software has had trapdoors everywhere. The cost fees down 12% yesterday. There's just all sorts of blowups, and so I've been pretty happy to avoid almost all of them pretty well. So I'm happy with
When
that.
you say you keep a lot of cash, like what percent cash?
Like 45
Okay.
right now. Yeah, like pretty high. Like I run a lot of options too, so it's like you can run if you have a whole portfolio of leaps and options, like you're obviously like levered to the gills. And one of the things I like about options is like I can kind of take like capped downside bets and get a lot of the same upside exposure while still leaving like more cash on the sidelines. So that's kind of how I use options in my accounts. I hold a couple European stocks, which like I usually don't venture outside of US all that much in my personal account, but a few good opportunities there. So
Okay, so speaking of venturing outside of US stocks, Korean stocks has been a major topic over, I don't know, the past couple months, but specifically the last 2 days, back to back circuit breakers, and things are kind of in shambles. I haven't traded it at all. We've talked about it a little bit on stream. Someone on the team is like huge in Korean stocks. I mean, what is your read on what's happening over there and investment opportunities in that market?
I really appreciate how degenerate the Koreans are. Like they are one of a kind. I work with an Asian guy, and he says he goes, brother, I know Asians. They're probably taking loans from their parents right now to reload these things.
Wait, so what's
like,
to do with it? This is just like Korean, like this is just like a known thing?
my understanding is that lots of Asian cultures like gambling. Like it's just they have no problem with risk, and I've been tweeting about memory stocks a little bit, and I think whenever I'm like kind of tweeting like bearish stuff or like kind of being like, hey, this is how cycles work, people take that as like, you should short it, or like you're wrong, and I'm like, I can also just not play here because I think the risk reward in both directions might be really shitty.
Yeah. You could just do nothing.
Like at the end of the day, like these cycles end because these are commodity bits. And when prices have gone so parabolic, the idea that they're not going to respond to that price signal when all the advantages in that space accrue to you because you're the lowest cost producer. Now, there is more sort of like co-development going on, and higher sort of thresholds for how performant these chips need to be. So maybe there's a situation where like only Hynix or only Samsung or only Micron is the one that can create the chip that is able to perform better than the other two, and it ceases to become a commodity, and one of them is able to drive so much higher margins than the others because Nvidia can deliver performance on the back of those better chips and kind of pass it through through their racks. But that's not what we're seeing, right? Like we are seeing gross margins are rising at the same rate for all these companies. It's the same dynamics. It's you see the rumors of like, oh, Hynix is gonna get this and Samsung's gonna get this, and now Micron's gonna get cut out, and then oh no, we're not actually cut out, we're actually and it's just like the way that I read is like Jensen's just playing them all against one another. and you know they're bringing on all this capacity, so they want to contract it out. And I think there's probably a 20% chance this is just like a super super massive cycle that will end the same way in a few years. So maybe this goes on for a little while. I'd give it another maybe 10 to 20% chance that this isn't a commodity, just because the co-development with Nvidia and the biggest customers just becomes a lot deeper. And then there's probably a 60% chance this blows up in the next like year, because that's how long cycles are usually. And honestly, I posted a pic of like the multiples that Hynix is trading at yesterday, and
Okay.
like it trades at like 4 times earnings or something like that.
Huh.
That's honestly probably the most bearish thing I can think of, is
I hear
that
this.
the market seems to be sniffing out that there may be limits to how much they can earn in out years, and the multiple is just compressed to the max, and now the earnings revisions in like 27, 28 are probably too high.
You mentioned Jensen, and I like touched on it briefly, and I don't know, I think I like brought this up as a stream topic yesterday, that you're long Nvidia. So it made the list. I don't know how, but it did make the list that you're long Nvidia. Like how
Yep.
what's going on there?
So, like, I haven't owned Nvidia for a long time. I think what kind of changed my mind is like there's really no way to catch him, because they're just doing so much optimization and verticalization within those racks. Like, it's really no different than the way that the iPhone is. Like, the Android phone ecosystem has to buy parts from everybody and try to cobble them together. And then Apple makes a lot of the chips within the phone and can do all these optimizations to eke out more performance, because they are verticalized within the phone and they own different parts of it. And that's kind of what Nvidia is trying to do. Is like AMD has to go out and get their networking and
Yes. Yeah.
kind of do each piece, and they don't own the networking, so they have to buy it, and they have to buy ZT systems, and so they're integrating that, and they just don't have the level of expertise that Nvidia does. And then Jensen bought Mellanox years ago, and people are like, oh, why are they getting into networking? And it turns out that Jensen saw something 5 years ahead that nobody else did. And so when he bought Grok there, right before the holidays, maybe one day we'll find out what the story was there. But clearly somebody else was getting their eyes on Grok, or they saw something or felt like they could crack something that really provided a different architecture. And I think you'll hear some details about that at GTC, about big leaps in inference performance. And I think they'll be able to further expand their lead against the other players. So that's why I'm long now. And the stock's gotten fairly cheap now, I think. But you always have to frame multiples, right? Like an 18 times multiple or whatever it's trading at is that's not an indication necessarily that it's cheap. It's the market saying, you're probably not going to do the level of earnings that people think, right? Maybe
Like, what does
actually
cheap mean exactly, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and this has historically been like a cyclical business at times. This is obviously a very different environment and end market than in the past, so you gotta keep that in mind too. So I feel pretty good about the risk reward. I feel like this GTC is like gonna be a banger compared to the last couple of years, because I think there's like big switches in architecture that need to come. So there's gonna be some fireworks. I think there's gonna be lots of stock movement through that event.
So I want to talk to you about AI SaaS, Citrini article, all of this, which I think is like, out of our topic sphere, it's the one that on the stream we've covered the most. We probably dedicated a week to Citrini. And I don't even know where I want to start with the question, but what I will say on it is, when we did, either it was the day we read the Citrini article or the day we did rebuttals, you had this really good tweet, and it was just, I'm going to misquote it. It was so good, but it was like, maybe AI isn't taking everyone's job, but the world unanimously woke up that like a 200K liberal arts degree from NYU to be like an email writer was never fucking worth, mid 6 figures. And some of these PE ratios are maybe just compressing rather than AI is like destroying everything. I also think your takes on this are valid because I read your tweets and you're actually like a lot of times I bring these AI bears or AI bulls on the stream and they're flabbering, they're covering a lot of topics, but they're not like using the tools. And I'm like, it's kind of hard to take your take at face value if you're not like using the shit. So I see you tweeting about Claude all the time. Like I feel like you have some ball knowledge on it. What is I guess we'll just start broadly and then we can like go more niche on the SaaS apocalypse. AI is going to take everyone's job. Jack Dorsey just fired 4,000 people for Claude. Where are you on SaaS apocalypse via AI broadly?
Yeah, so I think, a couple things. Like, one, I think you do have to acknowledge that, one of the moats in software was the scarcity of software engineers. And like, we've completely revolutionized how software is going to get written and how quickly it can be written going forward. So I think that's definitely real and definitely valid to try to price into the stocks. And it makes sense that the multiples have come down and terminal, there's some terminal risks that definitely need to be worried about. Two, I think the starting point for a lot of these stocks is very relevant. Like, these valuations have been ridiculous for years and years. They probably deserve to get cut in half. Maybe if it wasn't this, it would have been something else. A lot of these companies are really bad abusers of share comp and, like super high. Like, basically, you could, there was kind of like good SaaS companies and bad ones. And like some of the bad ones, literally, these are supposed to be like, oh, it's software, build it once, sell it for like zero marginal cost, but they literally couldn't bring revenue in the door without like a sales and market motion that was super heavy. So there was like no operating leverage in some of these shitty businesses.
I see.
So maybe those ones probably didn't need to exist in they deserve to get hammered. But with all that being said, I think, software, to the degree that all these things have kind of like crashed and it's correlated and there's so much value that's coming out, I just think is like crazy because one, the sort of like dream of like, oh, we're just gonna have tokens doing all this shit in the background. It's like, that is such an inefficient use of compute to recreate the same thing day after day. And people are like, oh yeah, you won't need software. You'll just ask your Claude to make you a dashboard. And it's like, yeah, but you might want it to make the same dashboard every day. And that's called UI. That's what UI is like, it's encoding process that is repeatable on a day-to-day basis. And it's like, you probably don't want to waste your compute and tokens in recreating the same like loops every single day. That's what UI and how like deterministic software is for. Second, I think like software at the very least controls a lot of relationships, a lot of data, a lot of processes. It takes on a lot of liability. It checks off a lot of regulatory boxes. And at the very least, if, let's say, software, the blue sky, dream for AI takes over in a few years, at least in the next couple years, these are key partners for the labs to distribute their intelligence as quickly as possible. They don't want to go into each business, each vertical, each application and try to figure out like, what do you need? How can this work? Hey, have you seen this? Do this. It's like, it's way easier for them to sell their tokens and sell their models through the existing software vendors.
I see.
Change is also so slow at the corporate level. Like, you can tell people have never worked at a big business, and I've worked at a few and not for very long periods of time. And it is fucking impossible to get anything done at these places. Like, I tweeted about like how long we have like an RFP going, and the amount of resources and time we've thrown at
what is that
decision.
RFP?
It's like a request for purchase. So it's like, hey, we're shopping for this application to be ripped out. Just the amount of time we've done into choosing, and I'm talking consultants, I'm talking like dozens of heads, I'm talking countless meetings, and we haven't even made a decision, let alone the implementation. And then we're in a regulatory like a regulated industry, right, as an asset manager. So there's all this risk and disruption, and what if this gets messed up, and what if these numbers and blah, like it is so slow, and we're like a relatively small organization. So if you scale that up to like a Fortune like 100, like it is not happening. There's a reason that Anthropic literally has engineers in Goldman trying to figure out what they can do, is because like they're trying to understand what is like the low hanging fruit, where can we actually like kind of skirt around people. But this is not easy stuff, and lots of these enterprises have like dozens and dozens of SaaS applications that fit together. It's way more difficult than people think.
So how do you filter through between this SaaS company has a moat and AI can't disrupt, this government contract, versus AI could disrupt this business and this industry, but it's just going to take a fucking while because they're massive and they're a mess? Like, how do you decipher those two?
Like, I just try to imagine if it doesn't even have to be today, but can Claude and what I've seen it do, and I think like co-work and code is, like incredible as it is today. So it's like, even if I scale up the complexity, what can I see LLMs actually outputting in the future that would, disrupt somebody? And that's like Adobe's actually fucked, because of course
Michael Berry's long.
Yeah, of course he is. It's cheap now, which I get, and like maybe it still works out. Who knows? Like, but the reason they're actually fucked is because maybe the bottom 40% of users there were only using the most basic shit. It's like filling in PDFs. It's like making a poster for a nightclub. You can do that on Canva. You can do that with Nano Banana. Like, they're actually screwed. Like, TurboTax might actually be screwed because that output can be recreated by an LLM. Whereas like, SAP, which is super complex, it has, petabytes of data, all your, the whole context and operation of a giant enterprise is contained within that ERP, and you have thousands of people working in the administrative function that, at the very, very minimum would have to work alongside AI within that modality. Like, that's not coming out. So that's what I'm trying to think about, is just like,
I like that take.
Can an LLM, theoretically produce the output of whatever these SaaS companies are making? And who knows if that'll make it, keep me safe going forward. Like,
so what do you think about your industry, finance, and these asset managers and like traders broadly? What impact will AI have on that? Like, do you think your job is safe?
Like, so like within my team, like I have a small team.
Okay.
I think we can kind of use co-work to like codify the sort of like base layer of, analysis. So it's like, I would say 80% of the job, or maybe a little bit less, maybe 70% of the job is like distilling all these different data sources, reading the 10Ks, the earnings calls, talking to management, all that kind of stuff, and synthesizing it into like, what does this business do? Why is it trading where it is? Like, what are the catalyst paths? Like, that's like 70% of an investment decision. It probably takes up 70% of your time. It's probably only delivering like 10% of the value of your decision.
Got it.
Right? So the way that I view it is like, let me get through this 70% because the value's not there anyways. And now we can look at more ideas, and we can spend more time on making the judgment, which is like the last 30% of the time. And we can get more shots on goal at the actual value added process, which is like discussing, debating, poking holes in it, kind of feeling out what the market believes versus what we believe. Like, that is way more important. So that's the kind of part that I can automate. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. Like, my hunch is that when you drop the barriers to information, that, the information edge gets competed away. So I think one of the reasons the market trades so silly is because everybody is a lot more knowledgeable about the businesses. So it becomes this, the set of considerations that move stocks are like flows and narratives and sentiment and, factors and all that kind of stuff. So it becomes all the squishier stuff because all the hard fundamental stuff is a lot more well known and competed away. So
this is one of my favorite evolutions, is that everything is narrative and vibes. We're crypto traders, and so it's like
yeah,
basically everything is some level of slop, but it's like some level of garbage, but you have to determine if it's wrapped in like a gold or if it's like wrapped in pig shit. And how you do that is like very difficult, and it feels like the world is increasingly moving towards this direction. I think the most obvious representation of that was the Centrini article itself. Which I don't know if I like. Okay, I read some of your posts about it. I saw you calling a couple people that called him out retarded, who also have paid group, which was kind of funny. I forget that one guy. I forget his K or whatever.
yeah.
That was a good. I liked that. What?
Oh yeah, I was giving him shit for that. Yeah.
Well, because I forget exactly what it was, but you were in the right on it.
Well, I just said, I'm like, yeah, the guy just launched a Substack and he's shitting on another Substack. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, just focus on your own shit, man. Like, we're all, well, Citrini was like an independent small creator. The guy's done incredibly well, and I know him a little bit. I don't know him personally, but I had one of the ideas in his like 26 trades for 26 was
was
one of
yours
mine this year. So I know him. And he attributed it to me and all that kind of stuff. So me and him are cool. I have a lot of respect for him. He's a very smart guy. But yeah, the around the whole narrative thing, like, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Like I said, I think it is part that like the fundamentals are getting competed away a little bit. So that's why it feels like it's about narratives a little bit more. I do also think that, like, the way that Druck talks about it, it's like,
Yes.
this guy's like probably the greatest of all time, in my opinion. And it's kind of like that whole thing, like, you don't get. It's like you hire somebody to make you a logo for $30,000, right? And it's like they did it in 5 minutes, and they go, "Well, what the hell? Like, you didn't, it only took you 5 minutes." And it's like, yeah, but I know what I'm looking at, right? You're not paying for the 5 minutes. You're paying for like the pattern recognition, and like that is kind of the same thing. And I think what a lot of time feels like narrative or vibe investing is actually just a strong ability to filter out what doesn't matter. So I guarantee you, like, I had a tweet about what Druck saw. I guarantee you he was like, okay, this is going to be huge. This is going to be big. I know we're at the bottom of a semi-cycle because he's a capital cycles guy.
Okay.
He was probably like, who's the leader in this? Oh, NVIDIA. Why? And probably had his analysts or whoever is around him explain it to him, like, oh, they have this software advantage, and, Jensen's a visionary and blah, blah, blah. And he was probably like, fucking jam it.
Rip it.
And that was it. And people are like, oh, that's hasty. You shouldn't be teaching people like that. And I'm like, yeah, but that comes from like decades of pattern recognition of like when to put the chips in. It's way harder than he makes it look. And yes, when you're like a young new investor, you shouldn't be investing on vibes like that. But I guarantee you, like, that the ability to make a decision like that is actually the distillation of like decades of pattern recognition.
That was sick.
So he probably undersells it. I think, I've been in the industry for like, this is my 8th year. And I was talking to a group of students. I'm like, there's a real value in being a generalist, because like you'll learn how an apparel company that has a hit product, their P&L looks the same as a trucking company in an upcycle. But if you specialize too quickly into one area, you don't start to make all those connections. And I'm pretty sure that's what Druck is doing, is like, just really good at pattern recognition over the years. Of course he is. He's the GOAT.
That was a sick take. Which of the, before I forget about it, the 26 trade ideas for Citrini was yours?
Synopsis.
Okay, what's the thesis?
So they are EDA software. So they basically make the software that creates that helps tape out chips.
Okay.
At all the big designers. So there's a few different tailwinds for Synopsis. Like, one, when you're like a Synopsis shop like Intel is, and you have your whole engineering function and R&D on the Synopsis stack, you are customizing right on top of that stack, and the engineers, there's like a few different steps to tape out a chip. The engineers don't know how to use the other software suite, and they only do one step. So obviously this is like very, very complicated. It's a very expensive workflow. Getting to market is a huge part of the value. So if you said, hey, we're switching to Cadence, people would quit because the engineers don't know how to use the other stack. You literally cannot rip this stuff out. And then the big value add is that they can actually simulate the chip once it's designed and tell you if it's actually going to work instead of sending it off to TSMC and being like, yeah, it should be fine. And then you got to wait for 3 months for it to fab. And then they're like, oh shit, it doesn't work. And we got to go back and respin it and like try again. Is like they can actually physically simulate the chip and tell you how it's going to work. So that there's like, some pretty high end.
So it's just like super niche bottleneck that you just cannot get rid of.
Yes, and then they also have like an IP business. That was part of the reason it drew down, was because, so they're making IP for TSM basically for free because they want to lock people into the ecosystem.
Okay.
But because Intel had no customers, they were like, hey, you got to pay us to like port this IP to 18A. And then the guy that's running Intel now used to run Cadence, the biggest competitor of Synopsys. So he told Synopsys to fuck off because they didn't have any customers. So they yanked the contract. And Synopsys doesn't really have like anything they could do about that. So that was the reason it drew down. They kind of blew a hole in their IP business that way.
SNPS, right?
And then they also bought this big industrial software company called Ansys. So it's like a physics simulation software suite for, like big physical objects, structural engineering, RF simulation, all that kind of stuff. And obviously that's becoming a lot more important now because we're not just talking about chips, we're talking about whole system simulation. So, one of the big things is like the racks are getting denser and denser with power. So in exchange for better efficiency and performance, you're going to get a lot more heat and a lot more power demands in the coming years. And, Ansys is kind of well placed within that ecosystem to help simulate and make sure that all works before you actually build it out. So I think Synopsys, like this thing used to trade like 50 times earnings. It's a little bit below 30. It's not a cheap stock, but like you don't have the seat compression growth or the seat compression issues like some other software. There's no fucking way the LLMs are outputting this. It's deeply embedded. There's like impossible to switch. And because there's, complexity is good for these guys. And because we're having so much difficulty scaling transistors down further, this is why there's more advanced packaging going on. This is why there's different sort of architecture innovations, is because everybody's trying to like figure out how we can keep the scaling going. And, Synopsys and Cadence are like, huge enablers. They're the only reason that they can continue to do this stuff. So I think they're very well placed. And Nvidia put $2 billion into them as an investment a few months ago when it was a little bit lower. So they've got Jensen.
That was such a sick thesis. That was sick. That's okay. Wait, answer this for me. Is like I'm gonna mess your numbers up, but you said that 70% of your time is spent like digesting these earnings reports and just like words, technical slop, basically, for like 10% input into trade decisions.
Yeah.
What does the other 90% of trade decisions come from?
Like I think everybody kind of goes about it a different way. Like I get a lot of value from watching the tape. Like I know that sounds crazy. I know, like I think in terms of like really famous investors, like I know Paul Tudor Jones is one of these guys that just like stares at the fucking.
You're just like staring at 15-minute candlesticks all day.
Like not candlesticks. Like I'm usually watching like a big universe of stocks and stuff, and I'm not doing this all day. I'm not like this isn't like.
Hey, you've obviously read Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, right?
Yeah, like,
I just finished
I'm not quite that. It's like I'm not quite that insane, but I think the value I get out of it is like it's that pattern recognition over time. Like I like seeing what groups are trading together, where the dispersions are, like what's working on a relative basis, what's falling apart, like all that kind of stuff. And I probably take more signal from price action than like the average person does. And I think like everybody you kind of come up with your own way to make money, and that works for me. I have a lot of respect for price action and what it's telling me, and I try to like pick my spots of where I want to disagree rather than like always fighting the tape.
I love the tape.
Like some
I love it.
well, I think when you first join the industry, it's like everything that's up and to the right is like, oh, it's too expensive, it's gonna collapse, and then everything that's down in the gutter, you're like, oh, I see it differently. This is gonna rip. And I think like Druck talks about this too. Like being contrarian is overrated.
Fuck
Like
being, yeah. Fuck being
like
contrarian.
well, like 85% of the time the market's gonna be right or something like that, right? And then you're gonna pick the other 10 to 15% of the time where you're like, no, like this has gone too far, it's gone too extreme, they have this thing wrong. Like, but yeah, like I think when you first join the industry, you always have this like, you want to be a hero, you want to be Burry basically all the time.
Dude, I have this theory that the Big Short has done irreversible damage to the upcoming generation, and if everybody watched Wolf of Wall Street instead, market should be in a better spot.
Yeah.
Tell me this as a follow-up: is best and worst trades ever? It could be while you were on your own book or while you were running money.
Yeah, like my best trades ever were AMAT and LRCX last year, and like I made these. They were 80% of my PA at one point. Big chunky, January 2027 leaps. I had 100 strikes on LRCX and then 250 strikes on AMAT. And the last bit of AMAT that I sold was up 1,200% from my cost or something like that. I sold my LRCX ones up, 300-400%. I do not even. It actually makes me sick how much money I left on the table. like I was up almost 500% last year. It was like life changing.
Wow, congrats.
But like I left so much money on the table. It actually makes me sick to my stomach. But that was definitely my best
What
trade.
percent did you leave on the table?
Oh,
it's like that.
At least I could have been 2x on that 500%.
God.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The only positive,
dude.
Yeah, it's gross. It's
So like, congrats,
well,
but like, ugh.
yeah, congrats, but like I paid, like AMAT today is $375. So just the intrinsic value with like a year to go is 12.5 grand per contract. Plus the time value. I don't even know what they're trading. They're probably trading at like 15-16 grand a piece, and I was paying like $1,000 a contract for these things. So, and I put 80% of my account into it. And then LRCX is even worse. I think I was paying like $500 a contract for 100 strikes, and they're worth 15 grand a piece on intrinsic value alone today. So it's like it kind of makes me sick. It was a great trade, like I was in the trenches in 2022 on like a lot less capital.
Yeah.
It was a really rough year. I was young, dumb, took too much risk. So it's like I'm a lot better at being prudent and like, controlling risk. And obviously if you're able to go up 500%, like I was definitely able to go down 50, 60, 70%. So I don't take that lightly, and I had a lot of conviction, but always easier in hindsight to say what is. So that was probably my best trade. I followed those stocks for years. I made a lot of money for the fund that I worked for with those names over the years. So it was like, you know what, if I get the prices that, if I get those prices, I'm going hard. And around the Liberation Day stuff, I got my prices. And, it worked out good. So that was probably my best trade. Like bad trades, I don't know. I didn't get sucked into a ton of stuff in COVID. I got sucked into Peloton. Lost some.
Jeez, I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, stupid. Learned a lot of lessons. I had a pretty bad Chinese trade. I lost quite a bit of money on KWeb, just like expecting a recovery that just never came. And then of course, right, it's like as soon as that trade rolled off, that's when China started to work. Like that's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
Like right now, I've eaten quite a bit of shit on Builder First Source, like expecting a housing recovery that's just like not materializing in the U.S. And even with mortgage rates coming down quite a bit, and even like we were sub 4 on the 10-year, like these stocks are like not reacting. I've had a few bad trades for sure. Still pretty bullish certain aspects of like where the NVIDIA architecture is going right now. So like the two things is like obviously everybody's on optics now with like Lumentum. Coherent, Sienna, Applied Optronics, like all those guys. So, they're moving to co-package optics. But like I think the other part of the trade that people aren't as keyed into yet is the switch to the 800 volt architecture within these racks. So everything's usually 48 volts. It has to go to 800 volts because the amount of amps you would need to pipe in at 48 volts is like 18,000 amps. So you would need copper bus bars that are like a foot thick and weigh like a ton. It's not viable at all. So in lieu of copper, you need a lot higher power chip content going forward. So in the Kyber racks that they're going to be kind of like shoring up the reference on in the GTC, you're probably going to have like 3.5 to 4x the amount of power chip content in there. And I don't think people are as like
what's the trade there?
So the trade there is I have one for, it's called a German company called Axtron. So they almost have a near monopoly on the machines that deposit the material down on the wafers. So these silicon carbide and GaN power chip wafers, you have to grow these crystals on the wafer. And this Axtron company deposits the film down to grow these crystals, and they have like a near monopoly on it. So the other like big SiC and GaN markets in the past have been EVs, which have been shit for years. So a lot of these stocks have been like kind of down in the dumps. And so they reported like some pretty rough results, but they're like, oh, like we're getting a lot of orders. So the stock has started to like work. And then the other theme that's like really important is like, so the reason that chips get more efficient, like a single die, is because the transistors kept getting smaller and smaller and getting closer together microscopically, so the data doesn't have to move as far. And so now that they've kind of exhausted that, like what NVIDIA has to do to eke out every last stitch of performance is bring the literal components of the server rack closer and closer together. So that's why HBM is stacked right on top of the GPU, is because it's a shorter distance to move the data between. And so there's going to have to be all these innovations on packaging going forward to bring everything closer and closer together. So there's a company called BE Semiconductor, BESI. I think it's a Dutch company.
Yeah,
they're European. So they're a leader in hybrid bonding.
Damn, this is ripping.
It's been really good. But I think this is going to be even more into focus like post GTC. So you're just going to need a lot of packaging innovations to kind of smush all these chips together so that they can be as close as physically possible. And that's going to be a scaling vector for NVIDIA going forward to eke out like every last bit of performance they can out of these racks.
Word. Okay, we have some fucking research to do. Dude, I appreciate you going way over the 30 minutes. Okay, as like a last sort of like wrap. I was gonna throw like a big one is, what is your thought on AI bubble broadly? How do you think the market's gonna play out for like the rest of this year and then maybe through coming next? Like, are we topped or do we still have like a lot of gas in the chamber?
Yeah, I don't think we've topped, and I tweeted about this too, like in regards to software, like I actually don't see any scenario where the AI bubble or the AI build out can continue without software working, because the way that AI is going to pay for itself is through labor replacement or productivity. And there's no way for AI to distribute the intelligence that they need to quickly enough without the software players. So like for this to work, I actually think for the AI blue sky scenario, it's like, yes, you had some dispersion as people like kind of chewed through this new way of like building software, but I actually think going forward, they might become a lot more correlated. I think it really is just going to be a mismatch in how quickly people can integrate this stuff and see benefits. To me, the shortest route is labor replacement. Like I think that's the only way that you would actually see this kind of build out get paid for, and I think that's going to happen via software. So that's probably like my big contrarian take right now is like software actually has to accelerate for this all to
I like
work.
this take. Do you think the block layoffs were AI or they just fucking overhired?
I think they overhired.
You do?
Yeah, I have no doubt that like of course tech organizations gonna be way quicker to implement, and like the whole thing that I'm talking about where like, oh, they're never gonna change anything because it's so corporate and bureaucratic, and that applies more to like Caterpillar than it does Square for sure. But yeah, I think they overbuilt, and now they can use these tools and kind of get lean, and that's going to be interesting where it's like if Square, let's say they're charging 2.5% per transaction on their payments, it's like, well, what if they start running that organization at like a 50-60% lower cost base, and now they can come out and do it at 2 flat, right? And that becomes like competitive pressure. Like, I do think there's chances of that. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think the AI thing is the real deal. I don't think there's ever gonna be enough compute for a decade. But the capital markets may call time for somebody in the ecosystem, whether it's Oracle, whether it's Microsoft, whether it's Meta, who knows? But somebody, the market's gonna say, you better fucking stop spending because you guys are burning capital, and we're not gonna underwrite it anymore. And that's probably how it ends. Not, oh, AI is kind of shitty and people don't actually need it. It's gonna be a capital cycle thing rather than a demand driven thing, and that is a very different complexion for the semiconductor market than in the past. But we will never actually, I know that's like, that might sound like a big take, like we'll never have enough compute, but we've actually never in history had enough compute. Every
So
time
why would that
find
change
ways,
now? Yeah.
well, especially now when capability is more directly tied to compute than any other time in the past. So I don't see why that would suddenly change. And like, I think everybody's praying for a DeepSeek moment now. Like when it happened, it was like, oh, maybe we don't need as much compute. And now people are like, oh God, we need a DeepSeek moment.
You might get one tomorrow when it launches, right? Or whatever.
And people are just gonna use 2x the amount of tokens. If they can be twice as efficient, it's gonna get twice the usage now. So I'm not bearish, but like, that being said, Nvidia is supposed to grow 25% next year. If the capex guys are doing 610 and they say, hey, yeah, actually we're gonna do 15 next year of growth, like these stocks are gonna get cracked hard. Like, and not for the delta between 25 and 15, they're gonna get cracked by 30-40%. So I think that's what you got to keep in mind. And it's that's why semiconductors are like the best end market for alpha, is because you combine the demand curves of technology with capital intensity, and that's why you get like such whippy cycles. So it's a great hunting ground.
I'd like to take. Dude, this was sick. Contrarian curse, suspended cap. You're you're one of the best. I confirmed that. I had to tell him, like, guys, I've never heard this guy talk, but I really don't think he's a chud. I really think it'll be worth staying around. Any like final remarks or anything you want to like leave us with that you wanted to say that I didn't ask, or anything you want to shill, anything you want to like leave with?
Anything I want to shill?
Yeah, it could be personal, it could be a ticker, whatever. You got some shills in.
I got some shills. I talked the book a little bit. I'm pretty bullish. I guess the only other one we didn't talk about is like Apple.
I know, I didn't
pretty
ask you
bullish
about Apple.
Yeah, I just think that like that silicon program has differentiated them for like years. And I think it's gonna matter more now than it ever has, because like they actually are producing a hardware where you can run edge AI. And I think that's gonna be really important in the next year or so. That'd be the only other one. We'll leave it there. All done.
Dude, you're the what'd you think of the okay, on Apple, the new Mac they just announced? Does that matter?
I think it's I think they're gonna blow away numbers and estimates for like at least the Mac division.
I kind of want to buy one. Just like I have like 3 Macs, but I kind of want to buy. Like, I want to buy it. The Neo thing is fresh.
Like I'm sure. Like I have some shitty Alibaba Quen model that runs my OpenClaw on my like 3-year-old Mac Mini. So like I can only imagine what you'll be able to do with like a fully juiced up one right now. Like it's interesting. I think within like a year or two, and that's probably also a bear case for like Nvidia and the cloud guys, is like some people just run this stuff locally over time. Which so Apple kind of is like, if you're gonna own Nvidia, like owning Apple over the next couple of years is actually like a good like natural hedge, I think.
Oh, I actually like that take.
Yeah.
I actually really like that take. Dude, hopefully we could do this again at some point in the near future. Do you do a lot of these? I was having my open claw trying to find a pod that you've done on YouTube, but it was really struggling. So I'm trying to figure out if you don't do them or my open claw is retarded.
I think I've only done one other podcast. It was the Value Hive podcast. I think I had like 8,000 followers at the time, so I got like 23 now. So I don't know. Yeah, no, I appreciate the time. Like I said, I like to yap, so it's always good to have these.
Sick, dude. It was a pleasure, man. I appreciate you again coming on. Hopefully we'll do it again in the future, and good luck with everything.
Hey, appreciate it.
All right,
Thanks a lot.
peace, man. Peace. Man, I really don't miss this on these guests, bro. Like, look, it was a long hour because he's like, a lot of stuff was going over my. I'm not gonna lie. He's like, a lot of stuff was going over my head. Dude, he's running open claw. Like, he's really about. That's an elite guest. I know you could just tell. That's an elite guest. That's the type of guest. I'm done with these fucking I trade meme coins. I'm done with these new pair traders. I'm done with this shit. Give me, I run $1 billion and I'm the truth. I guess that I really like that guy. Hopefully, you think I'm going to follow back? I hope I do. If there was a job for finding smart people on Twitter, I'm the best. I am the best in the world at one thing, and it's finding smart people on Twitter. I think this is what I'm the best in the world at. Here's his Twitter. I think I'm the best in the world at it. I'm not kidding. I think I'm the best in the world at it. I have one more guy that's sleeper that I want to come on. Okay, we have a lot to cover right now, actually. Is A16Z just announced a multi-billion-dollar fund. Dario Trump comments are getting a lot of flack. And we're 2 hours into stream. And like, I can do a MacBook giveaway. I'm a broke college student. I've done this before where I've like said I would give people Chromebooks and I really meant it, but then it just like gets weird. Like I like forget about it and like it's just like I'm like, oh fuck, do I still have to give that kid a Chromebook? Maybe I'll do it. I know, bro, thinks it's a bull market. Like Bitcoin's at 73K, so I'm like, can you give me a Mac? Yeah, I've done it before. I always do this. Because I like mean it. I mean it when I say it too. Like it's like genuine. How would you verify they're a broke college student? Look at you. First time chatter comes in here to say this kid's first time chatter comes in here to pocket watch is nuts. He's like, nah. I want that. If I can't have that shit, nobody can have it. That's funny as fuck. What W first chat, Pootie? That was hilarious. W first chat. That was actually awesome. All right, hold on. Let me get up real quick. I got pissed really bad. Give me like 30 seconds, baby. That W first chat, bro. I love you guys. Division 1 hater, bro. Chat, Mando wants to come on. Let's just do it. Let's do it. Mando, join for like 20 minutes. Let's talk about fucking war and Anthropic. Yeah, pull up. Obviously, we want Mando, right? Wait, let me pull up my water real quick. Hold on. Oh, fucking open the door, bro. Yeah, just call it. I don't know. Make the title whatever. Is he here? He just texted me and said, "Want to chat?" I think he meant on stream. You guys want Mando? Yeah, obviously. In the meantime, let's give everyone a minute to set up. Yeah, Mando's the GOAT. Mando, get in the Discord. You're there. I don't remember if you've ever answered my question. No, I can't answer your question. It's a retarded question. I'm not going to answer it. Look at Ponzi Trader tweet. Okay, what do we got? Be honest, how much did it cost for emails to sharing room? I can't answer that. Whoa. Jeez. Holy fuck. Oh my god. $24 million theft. Involve violence, weapons, kidnaps. Please pass to all who trace such things. Now I'm definitely out of crypto. Fuckers. Still have lems. Few. $24 million. Holy fuck. Bruise. Held off all I could, but can't do that much with axes over your hands and feet. Jesus. That's crazy. Be careful traveling with fucking crypto. You can't travel with crypto. Jeez. Oh man. That's terrifying. Damn, I'm just gonna rip that thing straight into Mando is crazy. Okay, here's a different headline real quick before we get into Mando. Yeah, that's gnarly. I'm glad he's okay. Jesus, man. Headline: VC firm A16Z Crypto looks to raise fifth fund, targeting a size of $2 billion. It's kind of a monster. But in 2022, A16Z raised 5 Bs. At the bottom of 2022. And so that is a significant downgrade. But they're still raising money. Dragonfly raised 650 M. A16Z comes out. They're raising $2 billion. By the way, I got blocked by P Marca on Twitter. What mean? Why? What mean, chat? The P Marca block, brutal. So brutal, dude. But yeah, 2 Bs. So there are raises still happening. And then there's one other thing I want to play. He follows like 20K people, but he blocked me. Yeah, it's brutal. There's a Trump video, I think. Wow, let me find it. He saw the code chart. He said it was my fault.
Very important.
Here.
In crypto, which is very important. In crypto, we want to be dominant. We want to be dominant in everything we do.
Luke, you have the overlay?
Into law.
This too, real quick. Wait for the overlay, and then we'll call Mando.
Got the Genius Act passed into law, which actually did enable stablecoin rewards to happen. The banks had their own concerns, and we reached a good outcome in the Genius Act. And now the banks really are coming and trying to undermine the president's crypto agenda. I mean, these are the same banks that debanked him and his family, right? And they want to come in and say that Americans should not be able to actually earn more money on their.
I think this is old. Okay, Luke. Yeah, you have it, Luke. Go set up, and then I'll call Mando. Yeah, give us our yield. Okay, we have to cover with Mando. We'll cover war and Bitcoin. I didn't ask that guy about crypto at all, huh? I didn't ask him a single crypto question. Yeah, we could cover hype as well. He like didn't want to talk about crypto. I could just like you could like sniff it. He didn't want to talk about crypto. He didn't want to talk about crypto, but today's a good day to talk about crypto if there was ever a good day for it. He dropped some crazy ball knowledge and stuff that I just would not get. The thing about stocks is there's like so many for every little niche product and product within a product and tools within a product. There's so many. There's a stock for everything, for literally everything. This looks maxing to destroy my game. It was good celery. Aura. So, all right, Mando, we're coming. I had to get the overlay right. He's cam on, Luke. You don't need that. Just get the full. Yeah. Thank you. So, time to bring back meme coin indexes. No, bro, we're done with memes. All right. Thank you. All right, let's go, Mando. Thanks for being patient. Double interview day. When's the last time we did this? It's crazy. My God. When is the last time that we have done that? Hey, Daydream. Thanks for the gifted. Here we go. Wow. It isn't Mr. Mando. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
Hold on. Let me
Ooh, Luke.
the volume is kind of fucked up. Hold on. There we go. I can hear you okay now. How you doing?
What's up, dude?
How was the rest of your night after I saw you last week?
Yeah. Luke,
Took you for a beautiful steak dinner, and then you made up an event afterwards and left me.
You know what's crazy is I actually did go out after.
Yeah.
Wait, why is your camera fucked up? Is it me? Luke, is it me? Wait, hold on. I want to get you right. He's locked. Okay, yeah, you're good. No, thanks for dinner, by the way, man. It was awesome. It was a move. Cabal dinner. I referenced it as a Cabal dinner.
Cabal dinner. But then you went out for another dinner. You're getting taken out for dinner quite a few different times.
There's like a little sneaky link after.
Yeah,
nothing too crazy though. But dude, the world's been crazy since I saw you.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I remember because I was in New York, and then shit hit the fan Friday night. Yeah. When I landed back in Europe, I was like, oh shit, I missed quite a big move, but. Kind of looks okay for crypto, right? Like,
I mean, so when this, I think it was Monday or maybe it was yesterday. I was listening. I think it was Monday. You did the live stream with those Bitcoin guys. You and the unks. Give you a pass.
You mean the unks?
I'll give you a pass. And it was kind of like, yeah, Bitcoin looks decent here. And it also looks like maybe we're done escalating for the time being. I'm not sure if that back part is true, but Bitcoin definitely looks like I don't know what Saudis are bidding, Dubai's bidding. Like, is this just a technical pump and then we're back? Like, what do you think?
There's a few things just on the foot, like just looking at charts. It's interesting because Bitcoin broke up and so did Bitcoin dominance. So This feels like a Bitcoin led move.
This is a bit because also like kind of like shit too.
Yeah, and you just know the moment that Bitcoin drops a little bit, all these alts get absolutely smoked. That's what it feels like. Happened even this morning. It's kind of happened again right now. Like Bitcoin's dropped a little bit, and everything's kind of lost its motion. But I mean, just think about it from an emotional standpoint. Like anyone who's sold above 100K, like we had that brief period where it looked like it was going to break back up around 95K, and we broke back up and then it went to 97 and a half and then just rugged. If you sold at 100 to 120, you didn't really get that much FOMO, I don't think, at that time. But now you look at this chart and you kind of do think that if you'd sold above 100K now and it's sitting at 72K and it looks like it's just broken back up, I do think that that's psychologically the sort of level that people go like, fuck, I do not want to miss this rally. So I kind of think we've got some clear up to like 76. We just broke out of this like small range that we were in for the last month, and then we kind of broke out of the range that was like the 2024 range, which I thought would be much stronger. So I kind of think that this is going now to
76. What is that? You're like, oh, these guys sold 100, have FOMO. This has legs to 76.
Well, maybe 80, but like 76 is where that is the April level from last year, right? Where we kind of hit a low. So the thing is, I'm not that bullish right now. Like, we need to see for this to actually be like a proper bull trend, it has to get like above 85, 90. But I do think this is going to continue to bounce. And
Also, your Wi-Fi is a little. I think it's you. I don't think it's me. Your Wi-Fi is like a little. You're on a bad network.
Maybe let me move.
I'll give you a second because I think you're about to give a decent take, and I want to clip farm you and get dunked on or whatnot.
Hold on 1 second. What about now?
Okay, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, so 76 is what you're saying, but in order to like really reclaim, we have to get above 85.
Short term, yeah, but like to get above 85. But in general, we're outperforming gold for like the first time in a while. That's the main thing I'm looking at right now. Like,
see, it feels
gold,
significant
silver,
that we're outperforming gold for the first time in, I don't know, since 1010, and then it's also happening on the back end of geopolitical war basically, and Bitcoin's ripping. And now, is it a coincidence? Is it because of that? Sort of unclear, but the timing on this one feels relatively significant.
Also, you know, Saylor's got a bit of a technical bid right now. He's got this product where he's offering like 11.5% interest. Have you seen this?
This was
like one of his
STRC.
Yeah, it's like one of the products where he was just jacking up the interest until people would care. Well, it's now gotten above a level that he can print quite a lot. And so that might be the reason why Bitcoin's slightly outperforming here, because people are expecting Saylor to come in and buy like a ton of Bitcoin again.
So like, does Saylor have money again to really buy?
He will. Where that thing is priced right now. So that's the other reason why Bitcoin might be slightly outperforming here versus everything else. But I'm not like super bullish, but it's the best breakout since 92, 93K. Like, this is the best one we've seen. And I just think you got to go for it a little bit here. Like, it's probably going to go up to the high 70s. And after that, though, there's like, I think I just prefer Bitcoin here because of the dominance breaking back up. There's not like that many altcoins I just like run to go buy, apart from Hyperliquid looks okay, but it's looked okay the whole time.
Yeah, Hyperliquid's a weird one.
Maybe
Hyperliquid like looks good when everything fucking dies and the market's getting crushed, and we go up and it underperforms.
Yeah, exactly. It's
a weird one.
You do like the buyback.
Yeah.
You want to buy it when everything else is like crap, and you don't really want to buy it on days like today. But I don't know. You're still in Bitcoin, right? You're only in Bitcoin.
Mostly in Bitcoin, and Palantir is my new. I'm in Palantir.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm in Palantir. I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, Bitcoin's getting hammered. We're about to go to war. What do I do? And I just started buying Palantir longs, which has actually played out pretty well.
Yeah, look, I just don't think you can look at yourself as somebody who's been in crypto for this whole downward move and not own Bitcoin.
This is the best take.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you've owned it all. If you've owned it all the way down, you're looking at crypto the whole way down. This is the best breakout you've got a shot of making here. And if it goes up to 75, 76K, I do think there's a lot of FOMO, because there's a lot of air that's happened all the way down from 100K now. Like, if I thought I'd missed that move, and I thought I'd been really smart, if I thought I'd been really smart up until this point, like, this is the point where you kind of question yourself, even if you're the biggest bear out there, right? Like, you kind of question yourself, go, fuck, I don't want to miss this ripping back. So I reckon we just get a bit of a FOMO pump here. 76 I think is guaranteed, 77, and then maybe 80K.
Okay. Also, your Wi-Fi still kind of sucks, but it's not that bad. If this is the best, it's not that bad. It's not that bad if it's the best. But I think it was better last time. But it's not the worst. Before I ask you some war questions on Bitcoin, specifically, how significant do you think it is that it's reacting right now? Like it's making this move right now. Is this like
Really significant.
really significant, right?
Like really, this is the first time we've seen this for fucking months.
Since what?
That
Since
gold,
more than months. Not like SVB. When's the last time Bitcoin's reacted good to like actual bad news?
but also when gold is trending down.
When gold's trending
Right?
down.
Like when is that? When has that happened? I don't remember the last time Bitcoin's outperformed gold. If you bring up all these like Bitcoin versus gold charts, which have been everyone's been talking about for months and months and months, this is the first time it's broken the other way. And I think, yeah, just like you don't want to miss that. So gold went from basically all-time highs back down to like 5K, and everyone's slightly worried about the dollar. Bitcoin suddenly looks decent, and it's Bitcoin, which it's more like a safe haven style demand thing. I don't think this is like everyone's bullish that clarity is gonna get.
I
this.
fully agree. By the way, I feel like people have just written off clarity as ever happening.
Yeah, so this feels to me more like, right, we're gonna like try and do a bit of a FOMO pump in Bitcoin here. So yeah, I would own it.
Are you long spot or leverage?
Leverage.
Always. You have no spot.
Well, I want to put on big size in this one,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's got to be leverage.
Okay, so then on the broader stuff, it's like we basically pivot. The last 3 days, I pivoted stream. We've been fucking watching Pete Hegseth live streams and breaking points videos. We're like geopolitical stream here. What are you? I don't know how much geopolitics.
I'm British enough, I think, to be that guy, right? Like, I could be the new breaking point
No,
guy.
you. By the way,
Like,
you 100% could do it. They don't talk about markets ever, too.
I could do it, right?
What do you think about where we're at right now? I don't know how much you keep up with. I'm sure you keep some because you're trading. Where are we at? Or how are you watching? Oil is the proxy. Where are we?
I kind of don't think it's going to go on for that long. This whole conflict. Like, I'm surprised there wasn't even a deal made. Like, it's kind of crazy how much of the leadership has been decapitated, essentially.
There's like no one
So
to make
you
a deal
basically
with.
do not have. Well, yeah, there'll be someone to make a deal with, but like, what are you really fighting about at this stage? Like, I feel as though there's going to be deals to be made. The main thing here is that they could maybe attack tankers in the Strait of Hormuz, but that hurts Iran's allies as well. So like China would not be happy if that happened. That is like a final move here to cause that much disruption to global trade around this. So I think the US, if you take a step back, like they're kind of tightening the noose around China here.
Yeah.
With these moves, and I think they've probably going to get close to achieving whatever objectives that they can. There's some talk about them like arming the Kurds, which
I think that's happening.
I mean, it's been happening for a long time, but I don't know if this is like that's really enough. You have to understand, Iran is absolutely massive. Iran is bigger than like France, Germany, Spain combined, basically. It is a huge country, has 100 million people. It is not an easy country to invade.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
is
mountains,
massive.
right? Like it's a
It's mountains, it's got deserts, it's got coast. It's like, it would be one of the most difficult countries to invade. And it's not like you can get a huge ground troops or anything like that. So the idea that you're going to get regime change with boots on the ground, like, it doesn't really make sense. So I think there will be a deal made, and I think that will probably be, honestly, for everyone's interest. Like, it's not like they really have a leadership at this sort of stage, and I think they'll probably try and destroy the nuclear infrastructure if they can anymore. But yeah, I just don't see this spilling out much longer, if I'm honest. I don't think this is going to be like months and months.
So I'm kind of new to monitoring geopolitical situations, but at some point here, the strait is closed, right? At some point, oil tankers are going to have to go through. And if they start fucking blowing up oil tankers, the situation escalates. If they don't, we kind of just are like, all right, probably are done here relatively soon. Like if they fucking
Yes.
blow up a tanker, we have bigger problems, right? Like no one's even
Yeah, but
tried.
remember this.
I don't think.
This is also Iran's only source of revenue, and it would be a big deal for their partners as well, like China in particular. So I don't think this is going to be some easy. They're not closing the Strait of Hormuz for like weeks or months. Like it's just not a credible threat for them to do that. Like they may, in the past, they've said, look, we'll let only Chinese vessels through, kind of what the Houthis said they did. Like when, and maybe they could say that, like we're only going to let certain vessels through. But the US could, like, I mean, they destroyed one of part of the Iranian fleet today, right? The naval fleet. They could destroy the whole fleet tomorrow, like with the aerial superiority that they have. So it would really just be from land-based attacks on this sort of stuff, very similar to like what the Houthis have been doing. I just don't think it's like a credible threat for a long time, and I just don't think it plays in anyone's interest to do that. Even the Iranians.
Got it.
Like over the course of a month, like there's no way. And Iran going into this, it wasn't like some great situation. They've been having massive energy shortages. They've been having massive water source shortages. Like this isn't a country that's like really doing that great. Like so. That's why some of these protests were happening, right? Like this was teetering before this, and I kind of think the US can kind of just make a deal with whoever is in charge now, and there'll probably be natural regime change already over the next 12 months. Like I don't think Trump's going to get himself drawn into this. Like he knows his base, he knows that like this isn't something they want to do, and I just don't really see it in anyone's interest to continue it. So I'm more of the view that this is going to be short term, and this isn't going to be something that drags down.
So if a deal gets done, are we ripping markets?
Probably, right? It feels like it. At least some things would rally. I think for crypto, it would probably you probably have a rally in crypto. There's some talk about the fact that like a lot of miners are based in Iran. So
there are a lot of miners based in Iran. You talked about this. I heard you talk about this on Monday. Yeah.
Last time they did this, like you saw the hash rate decrease when they did the attacks a few months ago, and it like maybe there won't be as much supply online during this period. There's a lot of talk about like capital outflows via crypto at the moment from Iran. Yeah, it kind of feels like maybe that brings more short-term supply on, but otherwise I just think that we'd probably see a rally on the back of this. So I'm pretty bullish if this gets resolved. I would say that like stocks, they don't look that amazing to me. Like they still look like they are due some sort of like a breakdown. I was more worried about the stuff we were talking about last week than this, which was like SaaS getting destroyed, AI. Deflation.
Yeah.
That seems actually like a more medium-term trend.
The equity thing is so weird because it's like it just doesn't go down. Like, how do you short this? How do you short SPY? It looks like it's ready to roll over and just die. Like rounded top here, right?
It does look like such a perfect rounded. Yeah, exactly. Like, look at that fucking thing. It just looks like it's about to head lower. Maybe it's too perfect. Maybe these things, when they normally drop, they drop violently, but it does just look like a top.
And like put premiums are crazy right now, right? To go short this thing. Some people posting about this.
Yeah. So maybe it doesn't go down as much, and maybe we just keep fucking rallying. Like.
So what do you think about
I'm definitely more bullish crypto
You're more
than I have
bullish
been for a bit here.
For a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know when the last time you.
Well, I got bullish when we broke. When we broke out again at like 92, 93K, I was like, well, this could be a breakout back up to 100K, maybe 100K plus. This feels like it could be a bit more. Like if this really does pick up pace, there's going to be quite a bit of FOMO that you didn't buy the bottom of Bitcoin. Much more than there was in 92K.
Well, one of the things about I agree. One of the things about it is it feels like all of our bear cases for BTC, like if you just think through it logically, has been washed out. Like Sailor's still in, obviously, but most of the DAT tailwind is gone. You got the like 10-10 huge wipeout. That thing is done. Alts are destroyed. The meme coin leverage and slop is like out. Like it feels like you kind of got a wiping of the table of like bad things to happen to crypto. All happened really fast. I don't know how significant the Jane Street stuff is, but it's gone. It's out.
Did you see that story today about the guy who flipped his fucking 200 million fund to 5 billion?
No, what are you talking about? Oh,
see this guy?
Aschenbrenner? Leopold Aschenbrenner?
Yeah.
Of course. The OpenAI guy?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
OpenAI
he's
guy.
different, bro. He wrote the spatial awareness, right? Was that what it's called? Spatial awareness?
Yeah.
He's married to someone that like is VP in Anthropic or something? Situational awareness.
Why
yeah.
didn't we fucking do this?
I know. He didn't flip his fund to 5 bill. He had massive inflows. Shorting equities under present.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah. He's married to the chief of staff at Anthropic. It's crazy. He's 24.
Oh, if it's just inflows, then it's less attractive. I thought the guy had fucking done a 20x.
I think he made some sick trades. Bloom Energy was one of them. I have a segment here for him, but I haven't got to it yet, so I don't know what happened yet. I have it. It's on the Notion doc.
It's on the Notion.
Flood said he's made about 2B on 3.5.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty
good. I mean,
good,
it's not
right?
as good.
Hey, do you know the guy I just had on? Did you see him? You know that guy?
I'd never heard of him before, but I've now followed him.
He's sharp, huh? Flood said I track this guy religiously. He's obviously mugging me, Leopold. That's the thing about stocks is it's like this guy is shilling me this like super niche ticker that you have to sort through like 500 tickers to like there's a ticker for everything. It's like over this German like production company off the straight of like it goes deep.
Yeah, I think it's easy to sound smart in TradFi. Genuinely, like coming from TradFi to this sort of space, it's very easy to sound smart. That's what I would say. Like, there's a lot of very smart people working at investment banks and hedge funds, and sometimes the smartest thing to do is not trade in the markets that they're trading in. Let me put it that way, because there's lots of people analyzing all these stocks to like the fucking nth degree, and then you've got algos trading all of them. So I've never been, and I used to trade in these sort of markets, and like these are fucking geniuses. So sometimes it's easier just to trade more left curve stuff, I've always found, or simplified stuff. Like I've just found there's sometimes better returns that way.
Huh. Also on the BTC thing, credit where it's due. Flood was fucking very bullish. It's 61 or 62, whatever, tweeting every day he was buying.
Yeah, he had a good call there.
That's
not generally how I trade, which is like catching bottoms. I like to buy breakouts, and this looks like a breakout. So
it does, man. I don't know. I'm trying to like keep calm on this one. I was kind of hype about 97. I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty excited when 97 happened.
What's the worst that could happen here? I feel like maybe you get a retest of the chop range that we had, like maybe back down to 71-ish, but I think there's a good chance that this is a breakout.
What are your levels? Like
above 60-70% chance it's a breakout here.
If we break below what level, break above what level, like where are you out, or where are you like getting increasingly
To be fair, we've already broken above like that level that we were in for the last month, and then you're really looking at the levels from like 2024, because there's this really long range we're in then, right? And that, to be honest, is around here. So we kind of broke straight through that. So, and then the next candle on that breakout was like the fucking Trump inauguration candle, where we just gapped to 90.
We just gap.
There is some, like when we broke out of that, it was aggressive. Now I say 76 because that's kind of the level we hit in March or April last year, and that was like a really strong bit of support. And then we kind of tested it a little bit on the way down. But to be honest, like there's a good chance that if this is a breakout, you're talking about 80s, low 80s.
Why don't we hear like what happened to Jack Mullers? I don't hear about these guys anymore. All these DAC guys.
What would that guy should be in prison, bro? You seen the shit that's been going on?
David Bailey and
It's
shit.
fucking hilarious.
David Bailey.
Yeah, just chatting about insider trades, buying their own companies. Like, it's fucking wild out there.
What's Tom Lee's entry? I know that's your that's your guy.
I remember I came on this show, didn't I? When we all spoke about it, and they were like, "Oh yeah," they were bragging about how much money they'd made.
How much money they were made. It was insane.
Yeah.
Someone said you should take a look at the Korean
I
stock
don't-
market. Yeah. Are you buying? Were you on here buying Korean stocks?
Was I? Fuck
Maybe.
me. I don't think I was. No,
Maybe.
I don't think I don't think I've bought Korean stocks like ever. I originally have bought like Indian stocks like way back in the day, but I have not bought Korean stocks. Isn't it like
Druckenmiller was
just something to
buying
do with? It's something to do with supply. Oh, was he? Fuck.
Yeah, he was on that Morgan Stanley
you see-
interview.
Very good interview. Did you watch it?
No, we're gonna watch it on stream, but I got distracted. We were at war. I got distracted. We'll maybe get there.
We were at war.
No, you
Hegseth
were.
was
It's
talking.
like you want to talk about Brazilian stocks buying the Brazilian index. It's like, dude, not right now. You know.
He is long copper. He's long gold. Interestingly, all these guys have just stopped talking about Bitcoin, which says a lot.
But the guy,
He used to be a Bitcoin guy.
did he?
Doesn't really mention it. Yeah, and Ray Dalio as well. It's just kind of like on very anti-Bitcoin. And then Chamath, I've been seeing, is kind of. I just see bearish takes from him on a bunch
Well,
of.
but their takes are. I
so
feel
I'm
like
just
their
kinda
takes
like-
suck. They're saying, oh, it's not private. It's Dalio too. They say the same thing. It's not private.
Exactly.
Did you just buy the ETF if you're a central bank?
I think they've just got themselves a reason not to like it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it's
they all think they can say the same thing, which is smart. Like, when was it ever not fucking private?
I know.
guys?
What are we talking about?
Like,
They
oh, you
didn't change.
just realized that a public fucking blockchain
Ledger is not private.
is not private.
I know.
That is not a new take. It's not like, oh, sorry, I've done the fucking research here, guys.
Just
It's actually a
discovered
public
something about
blockchain.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. It just feels like something smart they can wheel out to podcast hosts. So but it's interesting they're all at the same time. And it's not like they're turning around and shilling Zcash with the same breath.
No, they're not.
They've just decided that's their new thing.
They didn't pick the
So-
Naval route.
No, Naval's by himself. What's that fucking island off Singapore that the nation state guys got?
Oh, I was gonna make an Epstein joke, but I figured maybe not.
No, it's less Epstein, more like Y Combinator.
God.
It's
Oh,
maybe
it's
Epstein.
somebody will say in the chat. Forest Island.
It's the guy who thinks that Bitcoin's going to million.
Balaji?
Bitcoin's
The network school.
Yeah, he's the network school. Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you not
yeah.
seen where this thing is based? It's like off the coast of Singapore.
No,
basically, or one of the
Forest-
islands in Malaysia.
Forest City, they're calling it.
That
Flood said,
feels like a place that you should go to.
Flood said they
It's all
sold the top.
offsite.
They sold the top, so it's easy for them to flood. There's nothing more I desire for an asset I've just sold to go down. Yeah, fair.
That kind of feels exactly what it is.
That
It's like,
feels
I actually
decent.
think a lot of these guys a lot of these macro guys got out of the trade, and they'll realize that maybe they don't care about it being a public blockchain on the way back up again. So I think they're probably just flooding it on the way down, which again is quite nice. The FOMO, I have to say, like, just look at the fucking chart.
It
and
feels
think
like it
about
strikes.
you have sold, but just think about if you had sold it at these sort of prices above, because a lot went through. Remember all the Bitcoin OGs that selling. We saw billions of dollars come out in this like it's going to $1 million, and then you look at it now and you thought, oh, so smart when it collapsed again and went all the way down to 70, 60, and then now you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
This could be something. That's all I'm just getting the mind of the person who has sold it, particularly a Bitcoin OG, and thinking, this looks
Do we need like
this looks okay.
a new marginal buyer to step in that's gonna send us to 150, 200 plus if we get back to that stage? Like, are we searching for this new marginal buyer?
I honestly think it can just be the old buyers buying back. Like, I
that's
actually
pretty
think that a lot of this is just OG guys who sold, which will look at it again and think 4-year cycle. This is not a bad time to get involved. They might not think it's like. I think a lot of them think that the Q3 is like when this turns around, and we may see like a few more wicks on the way down, but they definitely don't want to miss it. So if I was
What
even going to
happens
start
Q3?
DCAing, I think that's when like you would traditionally see the 4-year cycle working out.
Got
So if
it.
you believed in the 4-year cycle, which you've been fucking right about, then
Yeah, you have
that's
been
when
right.
you would say, "Hey, this is time to get back." Get back.
The 4-year cycle thing's hilarious because we're like
So
praying for it to be true now after we were saying it's invalidated for 6 months.
yeah, it is right. I was very wrong about that. But
You were
the
anti 4-year cycle, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But I think this Sailor thing is also part of the drive. Like, it's just kind of funny. He's just increasing the interest on this vehicle until somebody wants to buy it. Like, it's the most Ponzi sounding
and where does
vehicle
the
to
interest
buy Bitcoin.
Where does the interest come from?
I think it started at 9. Yeah, exactly. And now it's at 11.5%. And he's just increasing the interest until somebody comes in to buy it. Like, and now it's gotten to a level that people want to buy it. So like, yeah, I think you're going to get also a buy from him, which may be being front ran slightly here.
Are you
I don't
buying
know.
this vehicle? What?
I'm not buying the fucking vehicle. I'm not getting involved in MicroStrategy at all. But
At
if I
all.
was to buy the vehicle, I'd be involved in the prefs. I wouldn't be involved in the common stock. The commons, you shouldn't be cheering on the fact that that he is printing 11.5% coupon prefs in front of you.
How does this end?
MicroStrategy, I don't know. People, whenever I talk about it, we get annoyed, but I don't think it ends well. Let me put it that way.
It's funny, all the MSTR bulls flip to like Udi and they're like mad at Sailor now.
Oh, really? Didn't see it coming.
They're like,
You know what you fucking signed up for, Taylor.
Yeah.
You know what you signed up for.
Yeah.
So
I guess we'll see what happens.
But there's not, like, honestly, there's not that much else that I look at right now and go, like, this is some. I still like Google. I still think that's going to be the most valuable company
like Google
in the world. I think it's going to flip. It's going to flip everything. I don't know if it got overtaken, but I think it by Apple. But I think it's going to flip Apple and Nvidia. I still like that one. But other than that,
just Bitcoin
most
and
of these
Google.
stocks look kind of a little bit
Palantir.
shaky to me. Suddenly, Palantir is a good call. I don't know.
World surveillance. I don't know ethically what it entails, but
yeah. But
I know how you go with ethics.
You're the one who owns it, brother. You're the one who owns it. I love how you just moved to New York and are now on Palantir.
About Palantir, yeah. And MicroStrategy.
Feels so on brand. Yeah.
You know, I saw Cameron Winklevoss in the park yesterday. Well,
oh, really?
I actually don't know which one I saw.
They don't walk around together at all times.
No, it's like a girl. There's a girl of some sort, girlfriend, wife.
Okay.
I was gonna ask about Zcash.
I saw,
but I didn't.
And no,
No,
I saw him in the south of France once.
Did you?
In an elevator. Yeah. I thought about saying something, but I was like, this is just going to be really weird.
Is it after the IPO?
No, it was pre. He was looking pretty happy though. This was last summer, so Bitcoin was doing pretty well.
So the Flood said Cameron Muggs, Tyler. I don't know which one I saw. He was good looking guy, like he was, and he's like 6'6". He was a good looking guy. But all right, Mando, you're the GOAT. Give us like a hot take sign off.
Spartan quote, like,
wait, your audio cut. Say it again. Say it again.
I said the DJ Spartan quote is just the quote right now, right? You cannot be tuning into this market for months on end and then be underexposed when you get a breakout like this. So if you're gonna shoot your shot, this is the time to fucking do it. We've just broken out of a range. Bitcoin's down $60,000 basically from a high. Feels like the best shot you're gonna get.
You're the GOAT. For someone that spent so much time talking to podcasts, your setup is like so brutal, but you're the GOAT, dude.
I don't know what it is. Whenever I come in your spaces, it's bad. I think it's Discord. Discord
Yeah, it's
just
fine.
fucks it
Discord.
up.
We'll switch it for the next one. For next week at 85K,
Yeah.
we'll switch it. You're the GOAT, dude.
All right.
All right, brother.
Bye.
Thanks for coming on.
All the best, man.
Peace. That's my GOAT. His setup is always scuffed as fuck, huh? Scuffed as shit. I did have a headline I wanted to read. Here it is. On Dario Anthropic. Dario sent an explosive memo to Anthropic employees on Friday calling OpenAI's deal safety theater. Damn, he really rich, bro. Flood! 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 My GOAT. Thank you, bro. I'm telling you, you buy Palantir stock and they start coming in, bro. You publicly announce you got Palantir stock and they start flying in. Yeah, buddy's still in the hole. You're still in the hole, but this will start to chip away at it. He's still in the hole. We'll start to chip away at it, though. 100 a day. We'll chip away at it. We'll start chipping away at it. Thanks, Flood. You're the GOAT, brother. Dario sent an explosive memo to Anthropic employees on Friday calling OpenAI's deal safety theater and criticizing the Pentagon, Palantir, OpenAI, and the Trump administration. The real reasons the Department of War and the Trump admin do not like us is that we haven't donated to Trump, Dario says. Well, OpenAI and Greg have donated a lot, likely referring to OpenAI's president, Greg Brockman, donation of $25 million to a Trump super PAC together with Brockman's wife. We haven't given dictator-style praise to Trump, while Sam has. We have supported AI regulation, which is against their agenda. Supported AI regulation is like a little bit generous here. We've told the truth about a number of AI policy issues like job displacement, and we've actually held our red lines with integrity rather than colluding with them to produce, quote, safety theater for the benefit of employees, quote, which I absolutely swear to you is literally what everyone at DOW and Palantir, our political consultants, etc., assumed the problem we were trying to solve. Dude, it feels like they're starting to stretch themselves here. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Quote tweet Daniel Tenrero. I think Anthropic is the best of the labs, and they came out of the Pentagon affair looking reasonable, but Dario sounds absolutely unhinged here. I kind of agree. I kind of agree that this thing is starting to get blown out of proportion a little bit. And I don't really think, I don't know what the upside is for like coming at Trump directly here. It's like, you got what you wanted, no deal. OpenAI took their deal. They also just announced that they are on track to surpass 19 billion in revenue run rate, up from 14 billion several weeks ago. A sign of how quickly the company has been growing in the lead up to its conflict with the Pentagon. To put that into context, they added a Palantir of revenue in the month of February alone. And so they're doing incredible. But they're getting themselves into a weird spot, I think. I think this is a weird route. I don't know where this ends exactly. I don't know who the last company was, the PvP, the Trump the admin, the US, but they are definitely getting into weird territory here. Now, that isn't the point of why I bring up Anthropic. The point of why I bring up Anthropic is that there was this conference today, the MSTMT conference, and he gave a very crazy quote. And this is what I want to focus on rather than politics stuff for now, is on defense and Dario, we really believe in defending America. Anthropic has been working with the national security community for 2 years. We are the most lean forward on AI acceleration. And here's where I want to focus, is we do not see hitting a wall. This year will have a radical acceleration that surpasses everyone. Exponentials catch people off guard. We are at the precipice of something incredible. We need to manage it the right way. Now, I will just say that it feels like Dario has been on this podcast press tour for the last 3, 6, 12 months, sounding the alarms, and he's kind of largely been right. On where markets are wrong, it's already big and will get to 1 million times bigger. The underestimation of exponential growth is the key thing people need to understand on revenue scale. Anthropic was at 100 M run rate 2 years ago. It's now at 19 billion. On culture, Dario says he spends 40% of his time on it. Anyone who's a CEO of a growing firm needs to realize they are the chief culture officer. My job is to make sure everyone is on the same page and believe in what we are doing. On talent retention versus Meta, we lost 2 people to Meta. They lost several dozen. Normalized by size, they lost 10 to 20x more people versus us. On code is the breakout use case. Code has exceeded our high expectations. Why? Devs adopt fast, code is verifiable, and gains compound. You build software to build software. Didn't realize it would go so fast even at traditional enterprises. Frustration is around regulated industries where legal compliance slow things down. That's how fast everything could be going if not for non-AI barriers. I think this is mostly good. This is mostly good for this. So yeah, safety theater, they're beefing with the admin. But yeah, quote, re-emphasize, Dario, no one is ready. Exponents kick in even faster than you think. Exponentials catch people off guard. There's the old parable of the second half of the chessboard, where you have 1 grain of rice in the first square, 2 on the second, 4 on the fourth. By the time you get to the 64th square, you have billions or trillions of grains of rice. We're standing on square 40 out of 60. And from square 40 to square 64, it's going to go faster than you think. Even having seen how fast it's gone so far, I don't think people are ready for it. I think we are on the precipice of something incredible. Crazy quote, dude. I mean, that's an insane quote. And then here's QW from Chao Wang from Alliance Now. Dario, Elon, Sundar, Satya, etc. have all said recently we are not hitting a wall. This is consistent with my experience as a user. There's clearly far more demand for intelligence than supply. Major AI-related stocks do not look ridiculously overpriced, and in fact, some, e.g. Microsoft, are trading their lowest price multiples in a decade. I'm now firmly in the no AI bubble camp. Also, a lot of the smartest people we talked to, the guy we just had on, are also in the firmly no AI bubble camp. And so, yeah, things are accelerating. GPT 5.4 is about to release. DeepSeek is about to release. It's been like a month since a new Anthropic model. We're probably relatively close to that releasing. It is, man, I don't know. It's hard to just bet against what's happening in AI right now. It just is. It's hard to bet against it. I feel like everywhere we look, the smartest people that are running the industry are screaming from the fucking rafters. You guys are not listening. It is going fast. It is coming fast. And people don't realize they are not ready for it. When is DeepSeek? It's supposed to be this week, I believe. I don't think there's an official date. I've heard this week. Okay, I guess the last thing that's happened real quick, just to cover it, is Korean stocks.
Oh, come on.
Which it's kind of funny because crypto Twitter like pivoted to being Korean stock speculators, has gapped down insane. And this is like the Korean stock. It's like Korean SPY right here. It's down like 20-something%. It hit circuit breakers twice. I think it opens in 6 minutes. Stock market opens in 6 minutes. So we can watch this Kramer clip. Just so we could like plant the flag on this. We could talk about it more later. But here.
When it comes to member players, though, Jim, you've got Micron technology in the U.S. What stands out for with you with SK Hynix?
Well, okay, that share that they have and the fact that NVIDIA wants so much to partner with them, and I think that NVIDIA has taken a huge amount. You know, NVIDIA's secret is it has a lot of memory, and that's because NVIDIA is really close to Korea. And those two companies, which is great. Now, Micron, NVIDIA is obviously a huge customer. Our government has spent a huge amount of money with Micron to try to keep us in that race with these two incredible companies. I'm in awe of the high bandwidth memory, which is so hard to make. How did Hynix get such a big share? What a company! Yeah, got to be proud of those guys.
Is it actually hard to make? I mean, we've got Samsung making the same stuff. Why not want to work at Samsung in the next life?
He's so good.
Well, because I wanted to have the biggest share. Second shares is, I think Samsung's a great company too, but this stuff is incredibly complex. And you have to have the highest quality semiconductor capital equipment, all of which is in short supply. These two companies saw it coming. And see, that's what I don't want to kid about this. Here's what happened. These two companies took Jensen Huang seriously when he said there's going to be a memory shortage. They built and they built, and they weren't afraid to take a hit if it didn't work. They were willing to hold things through the valley. And our country, way too short term, not willing to be able to sink a lot of money in the ground on hope. Those two companies in Korea, they spent a fortune, and that's why they own the market. And it's the hottest market in the entire world.
This is right before its double circuit breaker, by the way.
You're looking at the chart, Jim. SK Hynix up 370% in 1 year. Doesn't that look overheated to you?
Well, look, stocks, they can pull back.
Stocks go up, they go down.
People to come out and just say, hey, I saw Kramer. He says go buy high. I think what you do is you buy, you understand that these companies are worth a great deal. So when their stocks come down, you can buy them. But remember what they did. They stuck their necks out, and they decided to make a huge bet on Jensen Huang and on NVIDIA and on the next generation chips, and that's going to pay off. These moves are what I call parabolic. You can't buy a parabolic move. Just like Micron coming down right now, SanDisk coming down right now. But you have to remember, when we have big corrections like we just had in America, wow.
Yeah, this is before. This is 3 weeks
that's
ago.
when
This is right before. This is 3 weeks ago.
You wait.
Well, everything's
you don't
going
just
crazy.
go, wait for the corrections. They're going to happen, Cherry. They're going to happen. I'm not saying just go out and buy. I am talking about the companies, not the stocks. I am telling you that these companies are so great that if their stocks come down, I think they're great opportunities. But I am in awe of the longer-term perspective that these two companies had in realizing that.
How does he do it every single time? But so this, like, I don't know. There's a lot of speculation that a lot of the crypto volatility went to this to trade these Korean stocks, basically. And I don't know, I've heard a lot of people telling me that Koreans are like crazy degenerates. That's what Suspended Cap was talking about. I know like Degen Ping and Kai, a lot of these guys are just like tweeting about this nonstop. So this is the funny tweet. It's like the rule of unwanted betas. Whenever crypto people pivot into any sector outside of crypto, that sector tops within 1 month. This is always true. Always. Almost always true. This is almost always true. When you see a lot of crypto people rush in to a trend that has been going on, that is overheated, that is extended, that is up significantly, almost always we're last leg, bro. Like without fail. Silver was a great one. Silver was a great one for sure. And this is our most recent one. I think the market opens in like 30 seconds. Is that true? What's the exact time? You mean like Roblox? Bro, first time chatter comes in here to say that's hilarious. I think it should open in 30 seconds. What's the exact time right now? Is this right, app or no? It opens in 10 seconds? I'll watch it if it opens in 10 seconds. Otherwise, I gotta fucking leave, bro. I have shit to do. Bro, that's your time? Yeah, I know, but adjusted for, here. Is that it? It's 9 a.m. in Korea. That's when it opens. Is ticker not trading? Am I retarded? Am I just slow? Look at this. Watch this though. Look at this trend. Daily chart. Look at this shit. Bruh. Look at this, bruh. April lows to where we are right now, brother. April lows to ATH, 176%. ATH on Friday the 27th to right now, I fucked that up a little bit. To bottom pre-bounce, minus 20. Okay, it's open now. Let's see. Gap up. Legit gap up. How much? Gap up like 3%. Let's go 1 minute for a second. I just want to watch this for a second. I want to like trade this, bro, but what am I going to do with this chart right now? Well, we'll see. A little bit of a gap, 3-4% gap up. We'll see what happens. Trade on a lighter. Floods in the chat. I could never do that. I could never do such a thing. It's, by the way, you want to talk about Bitcoin dominance move? Alts today, complete flop, and lighters in that camp. Let's see, where's lighter? Maybe it moved a little bit. It wasn't before. Not even up 1% today is crazy. Not even up 1% today is crazy. On a day like today is crazy. Not even up 1% today. So there's lighter for you. All right, look. Here's the deal. It's like a 4-hour stream. I've been streaming way longer right now. I've been streaming way longer recently. So you're welcome. Here's the deal. I gotta go get a shoulder injection tomorrow. You know the deal. I gotta go get a shoulder injection tomorrow. My shit fucking hurts. I have like a triple labrum tear if you were late to the stream. I gotta go get it tomorrow. I get an injection tomorrow. And so I told you, I promised you, I will stick to my promise, is I'll do market open tomorrow. I got it. I'll do it for you because I love you and I care about you and you guys are goated. I'm going to do market open tomorrow. Number one, that means Luke has got to be up at like 6 a.m. Jack's got to be up at like 3 a.m. Okay? The team is everybody's waking the fuck up tomorrow. Everybody's waking up. Okay? I don't care what time it is. Everybody's waking up. Number two is I have like an hour max. And so I'm going to start market up at 9:30. I'm going to start stream at probably like 9:15. I'm going to stream. Everyone's waking the fuck up. Everybody, by the way. The whole team is up. Mandate. Like I'm knocking on doors. I'm banging pots and pans. Everybody's up. Everyone is up. I'll start stream at like 9:15. I'll probably start streaming at 9:15. And I got to be off by like 10:30 at the latest. I'm off at 10:30 at the latest. Okay, so we're going to stream market open, war updates, market stock updates, whatever crypto looks like. And we're going to cover it. And then Friday, normal time. But I'm going to be in excruciating pain. And so what you get Friday, what the product looks like on Friday, I cannot guarantee. I just can't. I'm not allowed to take pain medicine. No anti-inflammatory because the whole point of the injection is inflammatory. No pain medicine allowed. So what happens Friday, I don't know. And then Saturday, I'm ripping. And I'll be back Monday with absolute bangers. So, chat, it's been a long week, man. I can't believe it's only fucking Wednesday. I feel like we have covered a lot this week. We have been all over the place. We've been monitoring AI, monitoring war, monitoring the Middle East, monitoring Bitcoin. We've kind of been all over the place. So I appreciate y'all for sticking with me. I appreciate y'all for pulling up today. I appreciate y'all for supporting. Sick gas. We had back to back. We're kind of ending low energy here, but it was a good stream. 3 hours 15 minutes. So I'm out. 9:15 tomorrow. I might be late, but I will be before the bell rings. I'll be on. I can promise that. I promise you that before the bell rings, I'll be on. Anything after that, I cannot promise you. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you Friday. Let's have a great rest of the week. Let's close it out strong. And I'm out. Peace.